Hello everyone and welcome to my channel for a live monthly Plan With Me class. I am so excited that so many of you have turned up to join me for this class, and I have decided to pop on a few minutes early before 1 p.m. Eastern just to say hello, right, and get everything set up because today's class is going to be like part lecture and part planning. So I thought I would come in, get everything set up with you guys, and then hopefully we can begin like right on time at 1 p.m. On Eastern Standard Time. So I'm seeing that things look like they are coming through on my end. So I'm hopeful that it's coming through on your end as well. So you guys can hear me. I just want to confirm in the chat that you guys can hear me. And I will say that in order to try to improve the quality of this stream today, I did change some settings around. So I might have more of a delay than I normally do. But if someone in the comments in the chat could let me know. Awesome. Thank you, Angie. Perfect. Okay, good. Yeah, hopefully the audio and video will stay pretty good today. I've never used these settings before, but I'm like always trying to figure out how we can get this to be like the best quality possible and give you guys the best experience possible. Excellent. Okay, thank you guys so much. Excellent. Okay, cool, perfect. Okay, so first I want to give some shout outs to everybody who's here. So if you are here early for class, congratulations. You are amongst the few. You are like the 1%. You've showed up early to class, kind of like me when I was in school. I was always early in class. I always sat in the front row in I don't know if you guys are familiar with like, I don't know, theories of learning, but they said that if you came to class and you sat in either the front row or the center aisle, like the T, like maybe they called it like the teaching T, I forget what it was, but the students who sat there always did the best. They were always the best students. So of course I sat in the front. And obviously we're doing this virtually today, but you guys have a front row seat. So I would love to be able to give you guys a few shout outs before we start, just to like welcome you guys, because I will say I got so many amazing emails from so many of you. I'm so glad that I was able to respond to a lot of you. So if you did not get an email back to me from me because maybe you emailed me in the last few days, I'm sorry, I apologize. I will do my best to get back to you like by the end of the day today. But I got so many amazing questions when I asked for feedback on what your productivity struggles are. So I just want to take a moment to acknowledge you, because I know a lot of times you guys are seeing me, you're like watching the screen, and I don't really get to interact with you so much, you know? So I would love to get a chance to meet you guys. So I did ask for you guys to leave a comment with your name, where you are, and the planner that you're using. So Draylyn Robinson says that she's so ready. Marana, can't wait to start planning. Eric is patiently waiting in France. That's awesome, all the way from France. I know we have like a lot of people who will be here from Europe, hopefully, because this is a good time in the afternoon. I think it's evening for you in Europe. Joanne, hello from Iowa. Wanda is in Halifax, Canada. Excellent, Wanda, welcome. We have Beautified from Moncton, oh, Canada. Okay, I was like, I don't know what that word is. it's Canadian city. Holistic Body Basics, hello. Andrea from Austria, welcome. Sid is ready. Andrea is in a Gillio Personal. Andrea, Gillio is the type of binder, right? So do you use like, are there Gillio or Gillio inserts, or are there different inserts that you use? Because I'll tell you guys, when I say planner, right? Yes, I know that the binder that we have our planners in are beautiful and we love them. But to me, that's not the planner. This is the binder. Like, this is the housing. You know what I mean? It really is like what's inside that counts. So I would love to know what you're using. But it sounds like maybe like maybe like more of a DIY setup, which is awesome. Hello, Ruby from Arizona. Princess Kaha is tuning in from New Jersey. Patricia, South Carolina, welcome. Maria is in the Pocono Mountains in Pennsylvania, so not too far from me. Eric is using he says his planning is hectic. He's mainly in Outlook at work and a Moleskine agenda or GoodNotes. GoodNotes might be an app. perhaps. Maria is using the Happy Planner Squad girl. Okay, awesome. She with daily inserts. Cool, cool, cool. NC Administrative is, her name's Nadia in Louisiana. She's got a Kate Spade 2-year planner. Okay, cool. I'm not sure what that one is, but that's awesome. Johan says they're from Germany. They've got a DIY planner made out of Microsoft. They're making their own inserts over here. Microsoft Word chart and an A5 office binder. Awesome. Sassy Chic, hello. Greetings from Russia, Irina. So a lot of Europeans today. I'm so excited about that. Angie, now we're getting into people who can hear me. Okay, I'll skip these for now. So many comments. I'm so excited to see how many people are here today. We have like over 100. Oh my gosh, I don't even want to look at the number. That's gonna get scary for me. Over 100 people here live. So welcome you guys. I want to do a few more shout outs and then we'll just run down for how today is gonna work. So we've got Kupri from Poland. Hello to Maria, Amanda, Jessica in Houston, Texas. We've got 2 Texans. Okay, I hope you guys are connecting. Just dropped that cupcake from Chicago. Hello, I'm so glad you guys were able to show up live. Cindy, hello. Alex, Gabriella from New York. Janice is in Florida. We've got someone maybe in Sweden. Teresa in Sweden. She's got a bullet journal. Excellent. Denise in Kentucky. Brittany from Pennsylvania. Okay, PS. I'm like, which one's PS? Daniela from Northern England. Pilly B is using a Agendio with week on 2 pages horizontal. And she's from Miami. Welcome, Pila. Oh, Pilly, sorry. Cindy is a transfer planner person from New York. Okay. Ciao from Italy to Simona. Kathy from Tennessee. We have so many people here. Oh my goodness. Florida, India, Vermont. Welcome. Rusha, Angie, Susan. Oh, now I lost my place. Oh goodness. The Hooting Pirate. Welcome. Dawn, Anna, Maria, Zara, Sung, Lou, Jess, Kristen, Dee, Lynn, Vanessa, Nina. Hand Stitched Life, welcome from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Okay, Create Wealth, hello. Mother of One, Christine, Claudia. Comments go too fast. Miss Squat a lot. Karen, Elizabeth, Yvonne, Carolyn, Nikki, Marcy, Amy, Geet, and someone from Denmark, and Anna from Germany. Okay, so I think we're pretty much caught up. Okay, it's 1 o'clock now. And we're almost at 200 people on this stream right now. So now I'm getting really nervous. So I have to like really perform well for you guys. So welcome to today's plan with me for October. I really wanted to sit down with you guys and do something that was going to be a little bit more interactive, where I could teach you guys my planning process for the month and like my monthly review process. And also get a chance to talk to you, answer your questions, and let you guys kind of see me as I'm planning. A lot of people want to see me planning, which I don't like to do that like a ton. But let's do that today. We'll go ahead and do it. Like I mentioned earlier, I got a lot of great questions. And so I want to address as many questions as I can today that I got in email, because so many people asked me such wonderful questions. And I hope that many of you who did send me questions are here today. And I'm going to have to make sure I check to see that the people who were not going to be here get their questions answered too. But hopefully we'll get these questions were amazing, you guys. So I really love what you guys told me about your productivity struggles, because they were so interesting to me to hear about what you are specifically struggling with. So today I have I'm trying to figure out how I want to do this, right? I may do this. Let's see. What I can do, I do have like a PowerPoint presentation, which we can do a PowerPoint, and then maybe break so that we can do like a one-on-one like a video, so you guys can see me and watch me planning, because I want to like teach you the outline for my process, and then I want you guys to be able to like watch me plan. You know what I mean? And have a chance to plan on your own as well, like along with me. So I think that's what we're gonna do. I think I'm gonna start by going into like a full screen mode and doing it that way, and then I'll jump out of full screen to let you guys watch me plan, right? Actually, can we try one thing though, you guys? I do want to try one thing that I was thinking we might be able to do. I'm always trying to figure out how to make these better. Let's see. Let me close this for now. Okay, let's try that. And let's see this for a second. We're going to test something out, you guys. Am I still live? Okay. I am still live. Okay. Let's see what happens. Screen share. Desktop. Present. Okay. I'm going to minimize that, and I'm going to come back. Oops. Okay. Right now, I'm hoping that you guys can see me in a little box and see the PDF of my presentation in a little box. And you can see my desktop. Leave me a comment and let me know if you can see it. Oops. Let me take this down. No, I don't want to hide the chat. There it is. Can you guys see? Could you guys see that when I just did that? Yes, you can. Okay, so you think we want to do it this way? So you guys can see me and you can still see the presentation. Excellent. Okay, and I'm coming in clear still. Like my video is still clear because that's, I'm going to have to see, because I'm going to have to, in order to do this, I'm going to have to minimize some things. Okay, let's see. I'm going to have to keep, okay. I'm going to have you guys on my phone too. So this is going to be a little bit complicated for a little bit because I'm not going to be able to leave this up to read your comments. So I'm going to have my phone up. And I can also monitor that the stream is still going live this way. So that's one of the other issues that sometimes happens is if I cut out or something, I won't know because it's not like it tells me. Okay. Okay, so you're saying our presentation was covered by chat, but we're not there yet. Yeah. Okay, we're on a little bit of a delay still. Like I said, there's going to be a delay. I actually think this is working. So I'm going to keep an eye out for your comments, but let's go ahead and jump in because I want this to just be about an hour, hopefully. The whole planning process, it usually takes me about like a half an hour to do my planning. So for my monthly, so I'm thinking like time for questions too. So like, the meat of this is going to be in I would say like a half hour, 45 minutes. And then I'm going to open for questions. And I feel like the questions actually are going to be incredibly valuable. So I hope many of you can stay on for the questions because I'm telling you, I've got some amazing questions. So let me just go ahead and begin because everything looks like it's going on. Okay. So let's start with the presentation. Okay, so Plan With Me, monthly edition, welcome. We are planning for the month of October, okay, which October happens to be my very favorite month of the year. And so what I did to celebrate is I did create, I know I stopped doing this, but then I missed doing it, but I created a new set of tech wallpapers for you all that have this beautiful pumpkin effect and have one of my favorite quotes that says, "I'm so glad I live in a world where there are Octobers," which is a quote from Anne of Green Gables written by L.M. Montgomery. Now, for those of you who do not have this yet, if you go down to the description of this video that says to get my productivity toolbox, I have added these seasonal wallpapers for the desktop and the tablet and the iPhone, along with my 31 things to do in October printables, the inserts. I've added those to the productivity toolbox as like a seasonal bonus for this month. So if you have the productivity toolbox or you have access to it, that Dropbox folder, awesome, it'll be there. If not, you can go down to the link down below, put in your email, and you'll be redirected to the Dropbox, which is awesome. So this is just like a nice freebie for you guys to celebrate October because it's my favorite. So it seems like everything's going good. I'm so excited. Serena says she loves the quote. So I think you guys can see me and hear me and everything's going well. Excellent. So I just want to take a moment to show you guys that little present I have for you. Now, what are you going to need for today's class? The planning tools you're going to need, right? So you're going to need a planner, okay? So duh, you need a planner, right? Because we're planning today. Now, what planner you use depends on you and what you like. The planner that I'm actually using, and I'm going to show you guys. I know I've gotten a bunch of questions about this because I showed this briefly. This binder, right? This isn't the planner. This is the binder itself, right? Is this beautiful AB, like snake skin, like I call it like a mermaid skin that came from Michael's Arts and Crafts a few weeks ago, or maybe a few months ago at this point. I'm not the best with time, but it was a 3-ring binder, and I pulled the rings out so that I could use it for disc bound. And then inside, I have a disc bound setup with my 2019 Charmed Life Master Planner inside. What I can do, I don't even have to hold it up. I can do this. Haha. So I've got my 2019 Charmed Life Master Planner, the print on demand ones in here. So for the 2019 Charmed Life Master Planner, as like a bonus, I created a 2018 like September through December file so that you could start using it immediately and then just swap out to the new year when the new year came. So when you purchase the 2019 Charmed Life Master Planner digital file, just the digital file that's like a print on demand, you get the rest of 2018. So that's actually what I'm using, because when I released this beauty, the 2019 Master Planner, this is the 2019 dated, I couldn't use it yet. So I'm switched into disc bound. I don't know if I'm going to do this for next year or not, but I love disc bound. And I have been using, for the last, I think 6 or 7 months. When did this release? So, well, maybe it released in April, but I've been using it since March. So I've been using this since March, but I just swapped into the 2019 planner because I wanted the dates. So I was using the undated master planner for the last 6 months. And I love it. I love the system. Obviously, I designed it. It's the basic system that I've been using for I think since 2015 was when I first designed it. So that is definitely like my ride or die, but I'm just currently using it in a disc bound system. So feel free to leave in the chat if you haven't already, or in the comments if you're watching the replay, what planner, binder, if you're using a binder, and the system inside that you're using. I would love to know what you guys are using, so you guys, can maybe connect with someone else who's using a similar planner as you. Okay, so that's what you're going to need for today, obviously. And the other thing you could use if you don't have a planner is the productivity toolbox. Inside of the productivity toolbox, I have a sampler pack of the Charmed Life Master Planner that you can print. So like a printable sampler if you want to test out that planner, or you don't have a planner system that works for you, or you're not sure that there's places for everything in your planner, you can absolutely print that out to follow along. Again, that link is in the description box. It's that same link that I said, it also gives you the seasonal October downloads as well. And a notebook or notes pages in your planner. So I have a whole note section in the back of my planner that I'm going to use. And this note section is going to be used for this first portion of our planning process for the month. Okay? This first portion, what I'm going to call step 1, I've broken this into 5 steps just to make it easy for us to kind of remember and see where we are in the process. The first step to the planning process are some monthly review questions. So the concept for me of when I sit down to plan for my month ahead, right? So I sit down and plan usually on a Sunday every week. If it is the start of a new month, which tomorrow starts October, I will do what I call a monthly review, which is where I literally ask myself questions, review my planner, and kind of figure out what worked and what didn't work. Part of my philosophy for becoming a more productive person and a more productive planner is that we have a planner as a tool, not just for us to plan our days and our time management and keep things on track, but also for us to learn from, right? I really think that one of the biggest mistakes that people make with their planning is that they're not learning from the mistakes they made in the past. And if you are using a planner, right, and you're not getting things done from month to month or week to week or even day to day, right, because you could do this every day. If you're evaluating your process and you're evaluating how successful or unsuccessful you've been with your planning and executing, you can really learn a lot to like help you plan better in the future. So the first part of this is the monthly review questions. Okay, so I have 5 questions. I've simplified this as much as possible for you guys. And these are by no means the only 5 questions you have to ask yourself, but I think that these 5 questions on minimum, if you can ask yourself these questions on a monthly basis, it'll help you to tweak your planning, or, tweak your execution style, right? So that you are actually planning better and making more headway on the things that you do plan, right? Because none of us get everything done that we plan to do, right? But the idea is that we want to get more of the things that really matter and create less fire drills or less drama, right? By like missing, we don't want to miss big important tasks. So the step 1 monthly review questions. Question number 1 is, what victories or accomplishments did you achieve in the previous month? So currently we are in September and tomorrow's October. So what victories or accomplishments did you have this month in September? And if you're watching this in the future, whatever the current month is, the past month is, what were your victories or accomplishments? The first thing I think it's really important to do is to celebrate what you did right? So this could be things like goals or projects that you successfully completed, right? Things that got done. Life events or milestones that you went through, right? Things that were like reasons to celebrate, things that maybe changed your life, or big happy memories, right? So like really great memories, things that you really thought were just like a standout moment. So let's go ahead and start taking some notes on this, right? So I'm going to write this down, okay? I'm going to take notes too. So you guys have time to do stuff and I will have time to do stuff. And if you want, I'm not going to play music. I think you guys said last time that was a little bit distracting. So I'll just try to chat with you as we're planning. So I'm just going to write down, this is my monthly review. And I'm going to try to show you guys my notes as much as possible. For September, this is my monthly review of September. And I'm doing it on 9, I like to date my pages, 9/30. 18. So cue number 1. Okay, so what victories or accomplishments did you achieve in terms of goals or projects successfully completed? Okay. I'm just going to write for a little bit and maybe I'll share some things. Oh, you know what? And you should really be using your planner for this. And since last month was in this, I'm going to use this planner. I'm going to refer back, but you'll want to refer back to your planner if you forget. I always forget everything I did. That's a very common thing, that we just forget all the good things that we did because we focus on what we didn't do or what we think we didn't do. Let's try to get all 3 of those things. That's awesome. Okay. I got all 3 of my goals for September done. Okay. Okay. So I'd also love, I'm going to share mine with you guys because basically everything that I achieved is, you guys pretty much already know about it. But I'd also love if you guys would share in the chat or in the comments for where, if you want to share some victories, let us congratulate you. And yeah, feel free to share in the comments, but I'll just read it off. I don't have to show you the planner yet. I'll show you my planner when we're getting to planning stuff. So things that I did that were actually, okay, so my 3 things that I wanted to get done in September, like my 3 big projects or tasks, were to get back into making YouTube videos, which I've done, to launch the 2019 planner, which I did, and to put together a productivity webinar, which I did. I actually have a bunch of webinars, as you guys can tell. Every week I've done like a webinar, sort of like workshop thing. I also created my master planner class site. Okay, so that was something that got done, and it wasn't just created, but it was finished this month. I launched my productivity and planning mastermind live session, and I got back onto Instagram, like into doing like more of a productivity inspiration, because like I feel like for the last like year and a half, I've just been posting like more personal things, or just like things that felt like they were just like more relevant to my life than my productivity. So I feel like I'm back on a good groove with Instagram too. And another thing, if you follow me on Instagram, which if you don't, my Instagram is at MissTrenchcoat, okay? There's a link down in the description box. If you don't know what it is, make sure you're following me. But I shared on Instagram that in September, I actually surpassed a goal that I had set for 2018 as a whole, which was to read 24 books. So I read, at this point, 26 books. But yeah, so technically I wrote 25 down, but it was 26 books I've read this year by the end of this month. So I read 26 books, which is awesome. So those were the victories, accomplishments that I achieved in the previous month. So I feel like really good about that, right? So like let's take a moment, like, pat ourselves on the back. I'm going to see if you guys, let's see what you guys are saying here. Madam Arcadina said that she got her website finished and ready to launch. So relieved. So everyone, let's like round of applause, like do some thumbs up. Awesome, you guys, for like, let's celebrate each other, because it's so easy for us to like do so many things day in, day out, and like not stop to realize, like I swear I have like, I think this is because I'm a Pisces. I have like the attention span of a fish. I totally forget what I used to do. Like I consider myself Dory. Like I turn a corner, I'm like, what was I doing? What did I just get done? Like if I don't write things down or like take a moment to review, it's very easy for me to feel like, oh, I didn't do anything this month. Like I did a lot this month. Like I got a lot done. So let's see what you guys got done too. Okay, so Serena, looks like Serena has a lot going on. She got a promotion at work. Congrats, girl. She started her MBA. Excellent. She made seasonal living a priority. Beautiful. You got out of your comfort zone and attended an event hosted by a women's employee resource group at her job. Excellent. So I love about what Serena wrote down is she wrote down some like more like personal, emotional things. Like I actually feel like that's awesome. Like I feel like I could add some things too. Like I feel like I like really connected like with my girlfriends this month. Like we did a lot of like fun things. I have like this one friend of mine who like I consider her like my little sister, and I just feel like she has been like, I don't know, I feel like, I hate to say like I've been a positive influence on her, but like I feel like I can see her growing into like such an amazing woman, and it's like that's something I can feel like proud about. You know what I mean? Like, so I love that Serena reminded us to make sure that we were not just talking about projects, right? But also about life things that might not be very tangible, right? Like getting out of her comfort zone, right? And like being able to acknowledge that, that's pretty awesome. So round of applause for Serena. Let's see. Oh, Christine has some congratulations in order. She's on month 2 of her pregnancy, and one of her yearly goals was to be pregnant. So that's amazing. So very much congratulations to Christine, and like best of luck and health with your, the rest of your pregnancy and your future child. That's beautiful. Okay. Amy said that her daughter was married and the wedding went better than expected. So that's beautiful. So that's definitely like kind of like a life event milestone and a big happy memory at once, right? So that's beautiful. SJ, I'm going to show you, sorry, YouTube blocked that for a second, but SJ reached over 10,000 followers on Instagram, which is awesome. And you can follow her. She's left her Instagram handle there if you feel like following her. Or him. I'm sorry. No, it's Susanna. Okay, good. So sometimes I just assume everyone is a woman who follows me. Okay, so clap, clap, clap. Absolutely. Congratulations. Let's see. Anna got promoted to full-time at work. Excellent. Launched her blog. Double excellent. Had friends over for the first time since moving to Denver. See, that's a beautiful one. You know what I mean? Like that's a really nice, like big happy memory sort of a thing, which I'm so glad that Serena brought that up. She finished the bouquets for her wedding. Awesome. So it sounds like we have a wedding to be planning as well. And she's going to the pumpkin patch today, which is awesome. Excellent for Anna Todd. Excellent. Lisa, oh, my girl, Lisa. Okay, I know Lisa. She's an OG. Okay. She overcame her social anxiety by attending a 4-day business event, which actually got her totally focused and clear on her business. That's excellent. That's amazing. So congratulations to Lisa on that. Teresa says that she can relate to the Dory. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Okay. It looks like maybe Cindy has completed some habit things. So it sounds like she's been making her bed, journaling, exercising, and getting work done. So that's awesome. Congratulations to Cindy. Again, these things can be like even habitual sorts of things that you're just trying to change. Breaking a habit is so hard and like establishing a new habit. So that is like a major congratulations. Johan, or is it Joanne? I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Did lots of DIYs on the reorganization of her home office. Again, I'm assuming your gender. I feel very bad. And teaching and her teaching space. She had that planned, but not well planned, obviously, for the last 2 years. So that's excellent. So another like amazing thing. Doesn't it feel like amazing to just get things done? Amanda started meal prepping and scheduling a maintenance day each week to help her save time and energy during the week. That's really good. That's really clever. Okay, so now this is interesting. Here's interesting. Earth Scorner says what she has written down also kind of falls under tragedy, but I think it's all about the way you view it. But she left an unhappy marriage. She's in her own apartment for the first time in more than a decade, and also made her first souffle. So this is one of those things where it depends on. Something might seem bittersweet, right? We would consider that bittersweet, right? Obviously, if she was, you're not happy in your marriage and you left it and now you feel like you're on your own and stable and making souffles, like, like that's actually like a win. You know what I mean? So it's, it depends on the way you look on things, but absolutely like things in life, the way you look at them really is what's important. So Jody said she finished migrating her 24th and final location to the new ERP. I do not know what that means, but congratulations, everyone. A round of applause for Jody, because it sounds like it's something business related or work related. So, Eric is going to retire. He decided to retire and started that process. Excellent, Eric. V signed up for a new fitness program. August relaunched an artist website and printed new business cards. Gotten over 100 more followers since the relaunch. Carmen finished interviewing candidates for an open position, finished review process of a new system so she can move forward with recommendations, and met her health goals. Okay, so you know what? This is amazing, you guys. And I see so many more comments, and I know like this is going to end up being a 3-hour video if I read them all. But I want everyone to take a moment right now and like look at your list and be so proud, because you guys have achieved some amazing things this month to be really proud of. And I think we all deserve a pat on the back, a round of applause. Congratulations to you. Okay, so now for the sake of time, let's move on to the second question, which is, because we're still only on step one. The second question is, what planned tasks did you fail to start or were left incomplete last month? So things that maybe you wrote down on your plan that you were going to do it and it didn't get done, or maybe you have made progress on a project, but you didn't maybe touch it last month. Or you thought you were going to finish something, you didn't touch it. So this could be, again, related to goals or projects. This could even be scheduled events. Like you had something scheduled that you're supposed to go to and you missed an appointment, right? Like like, ugh, I had to miss this appointment. Either intentionally or unintentionally, but it was something that had been planned. And I will say, actually, in this situation, let's make these things that were scheduled like, oh my goodness, I totally forgot about this doctor's appointment and missed it, right? Like, I don't want it to be something where you had to change schedule, because there's nothing wrong with making a change. But if there was something you totally missed doing, like, oh no, I missed parent teacher day at my daughter's school, something like that, right? Things that you actually missed an event you were supposed to go to. And then also habits or routines. So maybe you wanted to change some habits, work on some habits, and you didn't get it done, right? Maybe you did it by a few days, but it fell off to the wayside. Like, you don't feel like you've made any progress with it. So let's go ahead and look at those. And again, you may need to look at your planner to see like things that were not crossed off, things that you didn't cross off, which is I'm going to do as well. Okay. So when I check in my projects. Now, the thing I will say about this, right, is that there are, I would say, categories of, let's say, tasks we didn't complete, right? I definitely am someone who believes that, all of us have things that fall off the list, right? That we make a project plan for what we're going to do for like a product or for our business, or for what we're going to do for like a wedding, right? And that's a good one, make a wedding, right? There's so many things we want, like, oh, we want this, I want that, I want this other thing, I want this other thing, right? We can sometimes like our eyes are bigger than our stomach in terms of our tasks and our productivity. So a lot of times we'll start working on projects and then we'll be like, you know what, for sake of time, we're going to not do this, right? And that is something where, like I said, if you are saying no to something, right, you're making the conscious effort to say no, that's awesome. But was it a conscious effort, or did you miss things and it was like, oops, you know what I mean? So that is something where, like, when you're looking at this list, what things on the list were literally an oops, like I should have done this and I didn't, and which things on the list were like, I consciously decided that, you know what, this was not a priority in order for me to have a wedding, right? Like, I didn't have to have, like, I don't know, a color coordinated candy bar, you know what I mean, at my wedding, you know what I mean? Because that would have taken time and money and effort to put that together. And ultimately that was dropped from the overall plan, right? So that is kind of like an example of something where, like, we're choosing to miss something, even if it was on our plan, right? So that's, this is a situation where, if it's something that you missed and the time is over, this is obviously, sometimes we miss things and there's nothing we can do about it. Like, if you miss a doctor's appointment, the only thing you can do is reschedule the doctor's appointment, So there's no like going back and adding in something, if it was for an event, right? Like, you didn't finish something for an event and the event's over, that's it, like, you have to kind of live with the results and hope that you're pleased with the results, right? But sometimes we also have things where it's like we want to continue on. Like, we're like, ugh, we want to get this done still. Like, this is still on my list for a very good reason. So I want you to like highlight those somehow, either like check them off, or like not check them off, but like maybe make a little mark or underline them or something, or literally pick up a highlighter and highlight them if they're things that you still feel like you need to do. Okay, because we don't, it's okay to not get everything done, but if it's still something that needs to get done or you really feel like you want to get done, then it needs to be moved over, for this month when we're, building our monthly plan for October. Okay. So let's see. I feel like maybe this is a little bit personal, but if anyone wants to share, feel free to share if there was something that you didn't get done. Let's see. I'll tell you guys something that was on my list. There is a video series that I really, really wanted to have done and put out for you in September. I filmed it. I even edited part of it, but I didn't like it. So I didn't put it up. So see, this is one of those things where like I still did the work, right? But I didn't get the end result. Like the end result didn't happen, right? And I'm going to end up having to go back and refilm this video series because I just don't feel like it's where I want it to be. So this is something where really a task is unfulfilled, right? Because it needs to be published. I need to hit publish on it. It has to be put out there on my YouTube channel for you guys to enjoy in order for it to be something that, got done as a success. So that's an example for me. Wanda said she wanted to start a YouTube channel. So that's something like you wanted to start it, but it just didn't happen. Oh, Tammy says that she planned to go to fall fairs, but had to work extra for the camper. So she put the fairs to next year. Again, something that maybe was on the list. Like this is something that I can do or not do at a certain amount of time, but she passed on it. Excellent. Okay. August failed to upload some videos. Eric procrastinated on most of the administrative papers that they were supposed to do. Yeah. So, I mean, we don't really have to really the point of this isn't like, let's see what we didn't get done, right? Because everyone doesn't get things done. But we want to be able to identify what things need to get done, right? Like for this month or need to be scheduled for next year in the case of the fairs or whatnot. So let's go ahead and move on to the next question, which is, and I think this is going to end up being a longer video than I thought it was going to be. I don't know why I thought this was going to be so quick. What roadblocks of productivity did you face last month? Okay, so what things stood in your way from getting these things done, right? So were they external interruptions or what I call OPP, which are other people's priorities? So when people come to you and interrupt your workday, right? And you're like, oh, I have to do this. Can you help me or whatnot? Or your boss comes to you and is like, oh, you're working on this project? Okay, well, I need you to do this now instead, right? So what roadblocks to productivity did you face? Did you have external interruptions that stopped you from getting these things done? Was it a lack of self-accountability? Or was it a situation where you were putting out fires, doing fire drills? So this is an analogy in case you've never heard this before. The idea of fire drills is that, let's say there are things that, let's go back in time a little bit, that were supposed to be done in August, right? That you didn't do in August and it domino affected you because maybe it had implications to other people. So a fire was popped up because you didn't get back to a customer with a presentation, right? All of a sudden, the customer comes to you and really needs all this information or whatnot. And now you have to stop what you're doing in the moment that's on your to-do list for the present moment in September to work on this thing that should have been done another month, right? So that is something like it's a fire drill. If you're someone who works, in any sort of, a lot of people have this concept of putting out fires, right? Which literally just means you're chasing tasks that you should have done at a different point in time that you either forgot to do or couldn't get done instead of doing the work that's on your plate today, like in the here and now. So this is a situation where people a lot of times get very overwhelmed because they're kind of always doing a backlog of work. Obviously, this is what we're going to try to prevent moving forward in October and for future months by doing this process of the review. But did you have fire drills? Is that what stopped you? And there could be other reasons as well, but these are just 3 popular reasons that I thought, might apply to the most amount of you. So, as you look at this list, what were your issues? What issues did you have? And I would say for me, I really don't get a lot of external interruptions, which is good. Well, actually, I kind of did. I'm going to actually put that down because you know what? There were things that I wanted to do that I chose to do other things instead, in terms of like, I was invited to do something with a friend, and instead of doing my work maybe one weekend day, I went somewhere else, or like I went out to dinner with their friends, or I stayed out too late, and therefore I maybe had to sleep in the next day and, you know, cut back on my time to do work. So definitely external interruptions, you know, it can be even, it can be things that are not just like people coming to you like at work, or like your family and friends were like, I need you to do this. Like that sort of interruption. It can really be like even people saying, hey, we're doing this thing now, and you don't want to miss out. So, you know, it wasn't something you'd planned or had thought about. Someone like invited you to do something, and so you went and did it instead of maybe doing other things that you had planned. So this was a choice, but it still is something that I think definitely falls under the external interruptions. So we got some people saying, OPP, I never think to acknowledge those. Yeah, Carmen, I think a lot of that, there's a reason that one's number one, because I think that's the number one reason people don't get things done. Lack of self-accountability, says Wanda. OPP and fire drill, says keep it real. A little bit of it all, says Amanda. So yeah, we all kind of go through things like that. Luckily for me, I don't like have any other external accountability for me, so I don't generally deal with fire drills. But anyone who works like a 9-to-5 job, where you're not your own boss, might find that that's a situation that you have. And definitely I've had some like lack of self-accountability, right? Where like there's some things on this list where it was just like, you know what, I just didn't buckle down and get it done. And that's on me, you know? And that's fine. It's just, the point is to acknowledge what the issues you had were, so we can learn from them. Now let's move on to question number 4. What insight can you take away from these roadblocks to learn how to plan better for the future? Okay. Q4. We had to sneeze. I'm a multiple sneezer. I'm surprised I didn't sneeze 3 times, but that was just 2. Okay, so question number 4. What insight can you take away from those roadblocks to learn how to plan better for the future? So, oh wait. Okay, that's question. Okay, I think I must have left things on there, but I think it must have left things on there on that page that were wrong, but it's no big deal. So what insight can you take away from these roadblocks? Let me just check my notes just to see if there's anything else I wanted to say about that, but I don't think there was. I think this is pretty straightforward. So in terms of like, let's say the things that were external interruptions or OPP, other people's priorities, what can you learn about the situation from that? So let's go back to the example where like the other weekend, I went with my girlfriends to a fall fest, even though I knew I needed to prepare for a class, right? And had a little bit of work I wanted to do. So, and that put me in like a time crunch where I had to knock some things off of my to-do list. So what I can like learn from this is that for me personally, is that when I get invited to things, I tend to just say yes to people, because I love saying yes and I love spending time with my friends, right? And you may find the same thing. Like if your friends or family invite you to do things, your automatic answer might be yes, because you love them and you support them and you want to do things with them and you want to hang out. And you want to do fun things with your life, right? So that's not unusual to default to yes. But maybe something I can learn, right, is Alexis, really cut down on the things that you're planning to do on the weekends, the work you're planning to do on the weekends, because you know your friends are always going to invite you to things. So that's something I can learn. So maybe I can be better about not planning things for the weekend to do. And I could also say that like maybe when my friends invite me, I really need to learn to not say yes immediately. Like I need to say something like, when do I need to tell you by, right? So that I take a moment to step back and say, is this the best choice for how I should be spending my time today, right? So that's a lesson that I can learn, insight I can gain. So I hope that was helpful. Now we're on a delay. I'm seeing all the bless yous. We're sneezing. Thank you, you guys. So that's something for me with the OPPs, right? This lack of self-accountability. How can I be holding myself accountable a little bit better, right? You know, are there ways that you can be, is there something you're doing, you know, instead of doing your work? Like, were you watching too much TV? You know, like, were you, you know, running errands, you know, a lot, you know, were there things that like, were you not feeling good? Maybe you weren't feeling good this month, you know, and then that caused you to feel, you know, sluggish, and then you kind of lost your motivation to get things done. That's common around this time of year. I definitely experienced that, where I wasn't feeling good. And so I didn't feel like getting a lot of work done. So that's definitely some lack of self-accountability. But what can you learn from that situation to be better next time? And then the fire drills, like what is there a pattern for the types of projects or things that you were doing or tasks that you didn't get done last month that hit you this month, like is there a pattern? Because I tend to find that when you evaluate people's tasks, what they get done and what they don't get done, a lot of times there's certain things that people like to avoid or push off. Like I know, let's say going back to the days where I used to work for like a corporate Fortune 50 company, I had coworkers, right, who like always, if it had something to do with like reporting for their customers or their clients, always put it off because they didn't feel confident in running reports, right? So instead of communicating, which is probably their mistake, was not to communicate to the customer or ask for help sooner, right? They would just push it off, push it off, push it off. And then the time came where, oh geez, I have to do this, I have to give them this information that they asked for that I should have given them last month, and now I'm in a pickle, So are there patterns, and do the patterns, or is it teaching you anything? Is it that like you put off the same types of tasks because you don't like to do it? Are you someone who wants to like instate healthy living, but you push off working out because you just don't like working out? Like there's nothing wrong with that. You are human, like you just don't like working out. It's not something that you like to do. So maybe the issue there though is that your workouts fell to the bottom of the list and didn't get done. And this isn't going to be a fire drill per se, unless you have health issues and your health is very important to you. But, this situation where like, is it really that you just hate working out, or is it that you just haven't found a workout that you like? Like, do you need to try different classes at the gym to see if there's something else you like better, So think about that. Is the reason that things are falling off your list because it's like a pattern that you don't like to do it, right? So maybe then there's an opportunity for you to either gain some extra skills, ask for help, or, find a new solution to that problem. Okay. And I've got some people here that are saying that they're learning to say no, or better yet, I'll get back to you. Yeah, that's exactly my situation with the OPP, right? Is like, I need to take a minute to reevaluate what's going on before I just jump in and go, yeah, I'll throw all my priorities out the window and just do what you say, So definitely. Oh, so Joanne says pattern, overplan, not setting time blocks, not respecting time blocks, worrying, lack of sleep, sluggishness in the daytime. Okay, so here's an easy one. Sluggishness in the daytime, has to do with your lack of sleep. May even have to do with your worrying too, like if you're stressed out, that takes a lot of energy really to be stressed out. So that's something where if you see these patterns, well, you know what, then maybe in order to help you move forward, you really need to prioritize sleep next month, like you really need to prioritize sleep. And this is just an example of how you could be learning from your past mistakes. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to the fifth and final, right? This is the fifth question. Yep, the fifth question, which is what in progress or new projects did you want to work on for this month coming up? So in October or whatever time you're watching this, the new month that's coming up, what things that were maybe on your plate that you didn't get done or are in progress or new projects, what did you want to work on for this month? And I want you to select 3 things, right? So like I told you, last month, I got my top 3 things for the month done, which was to get back into YouTube, to launch my 2019 planner, and to put together my productivity webinar, that 7 roadblocks to productivity webinar. So what are the 3 big things for you moving forward into October? So we'll take a moment now to decide on those, okay? And you may need to look through your plans and see like what was on the docket. Maybe you had things scheduled to do for October that might be important, or maybe you had things that already, were in progress. So you're like, I really need to set a deadline with myself and say October's when we're getting this done. So I can write mine down too, and I'll share them with you. And really quickly while we're here, because it looks like this is probably gonna be longer than I expected, I would love to know if you guys are getting value out of this class today. So if you guys are liking this so far, leave me a comment and let me know, because I'm truly interested to see if this is helping you guys. And I can see that there are people who are active in the chat, therefore I know that this is valuable. So I would love to hear from you guys if you like these activities that we're doing right now. So let's open over here. Okay, so I will begin, and if you guys want to share your top 3 for the month, feel free to share it. But I'm going to let you guys know what my 3 are for the month, and we'll do a little bit of accountability here. Real quick, you guys are saying, yes, this is amazing. You needed this. Absolutely. You're loving it. Thank you so much, Alexis. Thank you so much for being here, because you guys, if you're not here, I can't do this. You know, it's like not valuable unless we interact. So thank you. Thank you for doing this. Very valuable. Yes, you love the questions. They'll really help you. Yes, forcing me to sit down and reflect. Perfect. So helpful. Nice to talk through the experience. Excellent. That's exactly what I was hoping. Alicia thinks she came in late. We'll have to watch over again. Absolutely. And feel free though, Alicia, yeah, like maybe at this point you might want to pull back and you may watch it from the beginning. But yeah. And Elizabeth says it's very valuable. She wouldn't do this on her own otherwise. Excellent. And I'm hoping though that this video is something you guys can like bookmark and come back and watch every month, you know, to like help inspire you and, you know, do your plan with me in the future. So the 3 things, the most important projects that I need to get done this month are my productivity and planning mastermind launches tomorrow. Like class actually starts. So I have to, there's going to be like, this is going to be a focus of my month. And I still have things that I need to do ongoing throughout the month to support my students in that mastermind. So that's number 1. Number 2 is I want to update my You Got This workbook. So it's the goal setting workbook that I have. I'm going to be updating that. So that is something that I want to get done for October so that, you know, the new one is available before the new year. And I also need to work on my Charmed Life Master Planner inserts for 2019. I'm thinking that I'm going to add, and my inserts, you know, my inserts for 2019 for the shop. So yeah, it's the end of the year. I need to do the 2019 inserts. That's like a project that needs to get done this month so that it's done because you guys have been asking for your inserts. So yeah, so those are my 3 for this month. Okay, so that was all step 1, the review process, right? Now let's jump into step 2, which is actually going to be pulling out our planners and doing stuff. Okay, so this is where I think I'm going to let you guys watch a little bit better. I get it like more of a bird's eye view. Okay, so we've got some people who have left me a top 3. It looks like Wanda says she wants to start a YouTube channel. She needs to update her Etsy listings and Etsy listings. Wow, tongue-tied, Lex. And she needs to stick to her planner. Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much for sharing, Wanda. Those sound amazing. Let's see. I'm just going to put that. Just take this out. Okay, so I'm just pulling my page marker out. Okay, I'm just going to put this over here for now. Okay, now what we're going to do is, so we're going to actually look down at my monthly plan for October, and I'm going to build it with you. So let me get through these slides real quick. So the second step to this process is to add the dates to your calendar. So when I say dates, I mean like holidays, events, scheduled tasks or appointments, and reoccurring tasks that you might need to get done. So I'm going to actually let you guys, I'm going to pull this down here. Is that going to be in the way? No, it's not. Okay. So you guys are going to be watching me in reverse, but better than nothing, right? So I've got my monthly plan, and I'm going to add in my dates of the things I need to do, things I know are scheduled. So, you know what? I want to use a different, yeah. Sometimes I like to use different pens for this. I'm trying to think. I'm going to use this one, and I'll use this one too. Okay. You know, you guys know I love my turquoise or my teal. Okay, so, oh, you know what? Yeah, okay. I'll put that. Well, do I want to use a purple? Oh, yeah, I'm going to use purple. Oh, purple or magenta. Okay, so here's where I get like really OCD about like, what am I going to do? Purple or magenta? I think purple for Halloween. Let me test these colors. Yeah, I think that's a good color. Okay. Okay, so, you know what I'm going to do first, actually? Jeez Louise, I can't believe we didn't think about this. What I do on my monthly right here, I have like 3 lines, and this is actually where I like to put those top 3 for the month. Those 3 things that I really want to get done this month, they go down there. So I usually like to make a checkbox and a highlighter. And I'm going to write this in. So So the productivity and planning mastermind is number 1. My You Got This workbook is number 2. And 2019 planner and inserts. Okay, perfect. Next, it's over here. Ooh, okay, actually, I have a lot of room here. Sometimes I do pick up my pages to do this, so I'm going to put in how Halloween is here. So, and if you have stickers that you use, feel free to break those out. I just don't really, I use stickers sometimes, but I mostly just like write it in. You know, I just want to get things done. I'm less interested in how pretty it looks because my planner's already so pretty. The layout's pretty. So, okay, so happy Halloween. That's good. I think that's like, Halloween's like maybe the only holiday that like I celebrate in this, in here. So, okay. Oh, you know what? I should also put over here. I know that I'm doing a Halloween party. So I'll put that in purple too. It's at 8 p.m. Okay, cool. Okay, so those are only 2 I think I'm going to do in a fun color. I also need to put in, I like to track the moon cycle a little bit, just like the full moon and the new moon. So over here, the 9th is a new moon. And I kind of have like my own symbols for these things. So I kind of look just like a circle filled in. And the 24th is the full moon, which is just a big circle, empty. Okay, full moon. Perfect. Okay, got my moon cycles in there. What else? Let's put in, I like to use this one, the teal one, to do like content stuff. So on Wednesday, okay, so I'm actually, something I'm going to do this month, you guys, is I'm really challenging myself for the rest of the year to do 2 YouTube videos a week again. Remember when I used to do them Wednesday and Sunday? Just do all the Wednesdays and then do all the Sundays. I'm going to try to follow that schedule again. I just feel like for like just like the rest of the year, maybe I'll go back to once a week, but I feel like there's so much stuff that I really want to share with you guys that I just haven't been sharing. I feel like I really have a backlog of content. So, yeah, I'm going to put videos up and I just kind of use like a little arrow that's like supposed to be like a YouTube play button. And I don't know what videos are necessarily going to go up on those days yet, but those are the days. It's just like marking the days that I have to put a YouTube video up. Okay. Oh, you know what else? I want to use this green one to mark off. There's just like a few days that I have bills that I have to pay manually. Most of my bills are actually done online, like a vast majority of my things pay themselves. But I have to pay 3 manually, and it's this day, the 7th, the 20th, and the 30th are the days that those are due. Okay, so I'm just going to put like a dollar sign in green, you know, like a money sign in green, and then I know it's like money related. And I'll just tell you guys now, I don't really color coordinate, but I kind of like to do it in the monthly, just so it like looks a little bit more fun. Okay, what else? Oh, geez Louise, productivity and planning mastermind. So I'm just going to write out on here because I want to just track the weeks. So yeah, start putting, I hope you guys are doing this too along with me. I think I've seen the comments slow down, so hopefully you guys are in your planners too. Obviously, the things that I'm doing don't really matter to you. So, but I guess like it's nice for you guys to see like what I would add on here. Oh my goodness. Oh, geez Louise. Okay, no big deal. So what happens when you talk and plan at the same time? You make errors, but it's okay. Okay, so I've got the 5 weeks because on those days I actually have new modules that drop. So I'm just having those out because those are the days they're all due. Okay. I think that's good for the dates. Okay. Let's go back up. And hopefully that was enough time for you. If not, you could start, continue. Okay, step 3 is to write out your master monthly to-do list. And now that we've got the dates on our calendar. And actually, once you do this, you might have more things to schedule on your calendar, but this is just my general process. Master to-do list, add tasks. Okay, so the master to-do list, I actually have a page in my planner that's a master to-do list for every month. And this is where I will add all the tasks that I want to get done for the month. Specifically, any tasks that might come from projects, right? So a lot of people ask me, and this was a question I got in my emails, which was, you make a project plan, but then how do I remember to like, go back and like keep up with the tasks? So I have project plans in my planner, but then I will take whatever, like I'll go through my project plans and I will take those tasks that relate to a current month and put them on the current month's master to-do list. Okay. So that's like the process that I do. And that kind of helps me because, your projects could be spanning weeks, months, like long periods of time, and there could be a lot. But if you go through and just take the time on your monthly review to actually review the tasks that you have to do from your projects and then kind of make their own dedicated to-do list, that is the way that I do it and the way that I recommend doing it so that you know everything you need to get done in a given month. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead. Oh, the also thing is also what you'll put on this master to-do list is any known tasks. So if there's tasks that you need to get done that aren't even project related, right? Definitely make sure you add them on here as well. Okay. So let's go ahead and start with the master to-do list. You guys can watch me make this. Okay, so the first thing that like is like a task that I do every month that like I know it's just like one of those known tasks is a brain dump. Actually, you know what? I'm a stickler for my handwriting, so I'm gonna pull that out and do it this way. I just don't want I just can't stand when the things aren't written nicely. Okay, so my brain dump is something I do every month. Okay. So next, let's think about, okay, so the productivity and planning mastermind, that's like the next project on the list, right? So I'm going to write down that. And I kind of do this a little bit, and you can do this any way you choose. But I kind of do this like a project on like a project basis. So like I said, one of the things I wanted to do was my productivity and planning mastermind this month. So for October, and I have tasks associated with it. So I kind of like create its own, like, I don't know, outline here of what I need to get done. One of the things I need to do my Q&As. Two. There'll be 2 that I do in the month. Okay. Okay, so I think that's everything that I need to get done in the mastermind for October. So I'm going to do two Q&As in October. I have to get them scheduled. So once they're scheduled, I'll actually write down like what the date is. And then once I do them, I will check them off the list. I also have some worksheets I have to do. And before October is out, I need to schedule out my November plan, essentially, or posts for the Mastermind Facebook group. So that's all one of my tasks as well. Actually. Okay. And then, okay, what's the next one? Is the workbook. Okay. Okay. So the workbook, what I need to do is I need to reformat it. To outline new content. Need to write new content. Okay, so something you might, if you're watching me right now, you might actually see that some of the things I'm putting on here, I kind of put a question mark on. And the reason is because I don't know if I'm going to get done this month. So it would be like one of those things where I would love to have all this work done, right? And I could theoretically, right? But things sometimes change. So I put question marks on things that I'm not 100% positive will get done this month. And usually it's because they don't absolutely need to be done that month. Like I consider some things I absolutely really need to strive to make sure these get done. And then other things it's like, these are like icing on top of the cake if I can get them done this month. If not, push them to the next month. I hope that makes sense. So that's why some things might have question marks next to them if you're watching and you're curious. If you're just eyes on your own paper, excellent. Okay, so what's the last one is the inserts. Okay, so let's see. Okay. Okay, so those are my 3 big projects broken out. And then, oh, something else I like to do on here. Okay, this is important too. Remember how I marked off the videos? Okay, hold on. I have to count up how many videos there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3. 5, 7, 8, 9. Good. Okay. So there's 9 videos that I'm going to need. I'll have to use this for the rest of this area probably. And I could probably duplicate if I want to save. Yeah. 1. I'll go about halfway to. Sometimes if I don't feel like there's going to be enough, I'll add like a second column or whatever. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So these just represent the videos that I'm going to do. Okay, so I have a list too of videos in my planner that I need to, that might go on this list. I might not have all of them decided yet because sometimes I do change plans on that, but okay, I'll write in the ones that I can think of now, or that, I think are going to be set in here now. And these won't be in any sort of like order or anything. It's just sort of to, like, I can check them off as I do them. Okay, so I think these might be the ones that I'm like pretty sure I'm going to try to film this for this month coming up. Okay. 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 So that's it for this right now. Okay. I think that's it for right now. And again, if things pop up, I will put them on here. This is not necessarily about like having everything perfect as much as it's about having a good plan laid out to begin with. It looks like some people have questions. This is what I'm going to do. I'm sure that some of the questions you guys are asking me right now are going to be answered as we go along. So I'm going to hold, I'm going to answer questions later. Okay. So let's go on to, let's see. Okay. Step number 4, okay, in this process is to highlight 3 to 5 items to assign to each week of the month. Okay. So this would be the concept of my like weekly top 5. If you guys have ever heard of this before, the top 5 is when you choose like 5, and the 5 is kind of like irrelevant. I choose 5 like sometimes because it's like 5 days in a week, like a work week, but it's 5 projects that you want to work on, right? And it doesn't mean you have to finish the projects. It just means these are 5 projects that are priorities that you want to move forward. So I say like 3 to 5, right? But if you only have like one thing going on in your life, then it's maybe just one project, right? To move forward a week. So that's to keep in mind. So usually the way I do this is I will kind of do this from my master list, and you guys can see when you look at my planner, and I think someone said something about it being in reverse. Yeah, you guys are like looking at a mirror image and then we're upside down. So you guys are seeing like a reversal right now. Okay, so let's go ahead and assign them to the week. So in my master planner, one of the things I love about this is that notes column that are in so many month on 2 pages planners, but like no one really knows what to do with it. I have converted it to like a checkbox for this week, which is where you would actually line up those like 3 to 5 items. And I just have 3 boxes here. So it's like the top 3 that I want to get done every week, just because of space. Like these planners, like, only so much space. I don't want to make things be super tiny. So it just has 3, but it's like a way for you to set priorities and get clear on what you're focusing on. So Let's see. Okay. What do I need to do for each week? And so basically when we're looking at this, right, this is a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, if you guys can see that. And I'm just kind of doing this to give you guys a visual. So this is the first week, and these first 3 boxes belong to that week. So I kind of just line things up. So what do I need to get done? Am I going to just do this? Yeah, maybe just do this, Lex. I might just do this just to make it a little bit easier on me. Okay. So that I can see the items and then write this down. Okay. So first things first, let's see. Okay. The mastermind is on the list first. So the first thing I need to do is schedule those Q&As. Okay. So then the workbook, let's see. I'll do the reformat. Okay. And the planner. Perfect. Okay. So you can see, like, I have the top 3 things that I want to get done this week. And what I've done is I've taken this month, and then I've taken like one element from each of them and put it in a box. Now, this isn't the way you have to do it for yourself. It's just the way I do it. And I think that it's helpful for me to look at it that way. But do whatever works for you. All 3 of these don't even have to be project related. It could be like, let's see, we'll get to it, because when I get down to like the week of my Halloween party, you're going to see that the Halloween party is going to become a a project in of itself that I have to work on. And you also don't have to feel like you have to fill in all 3 for every week, because I might do that, right? Especially for like the first few weeks, but then usually I give myself a little bit more wiggle room in case things pop up. So this is another idea that like I like to use with my planning, is the idea of white space, like not over planning, not filling in every box just because the box is there. But I like to, especially because we're talking about a full month, which is, it's hard enough for some people to plan a day ahead, a week ahead. A whole month seems like so much, especially for me. So I do try to leave a little bit of wiggle room, right? But things that I really feel like need to get done for schedules, and I really feel like I'm confident that I could get it done, then I'll put it in. Okay, so let's keep going with this. Okay, and you're going to see right now, I just wrote something twice. This one task, that worksheets that I need to do, I'm not sure if I'll be able to get them done all in 1 week. So I'm going to spread it over 2 weeks. So that's why it's the same element twice. I don't just think I messed up. Now here on this week here, I'm on week 3 here. You could see that I did one item for each of my top 3 monthly goals things, but I really only have like 2 things I need to work on for this. And then the other one is kind of something I can just like, I'll just probably end up naturally doing over the course of the month. So I'm going to leave this next one blank. And again, I'm going to start scheduling in blank space just so I have more time. Now this is the Halloween party week. Okay, so that party prep for this is going to be most of this week. Well, I guess I should have written down the Halloween party in here, but I'm not going to. Because my Halloween party, I have like a project plan for it. I don't really feel like I need to put it in my monthly tasks. Like it's important enough that I'm going to remember. Okay. I think that's good for right now for me. I feel like I've planned enough. Again, we want to plan enough to get us started, but we don't want to over plan so that we put ourselves into a hole. Back. Okay. So, oh, step 4, I didn't even talk to you guys about that. Okay. Step 4 was individual tasks of importance or projects that you want to begin that week. But I think I pretty much talked about that. So an example of an individual task of importance, well, okay, would be something like maybe like the party prep. It's not one individual task, but this Halloween party is going to take over my life for that week. So it's kind of just like I'm considering it one thing, like one project. And then projects you want to begin that week. I showed you the projects for, the top 3. You guys saw that being laid out. So cool. Next is step 5, outline your habits or reoccurring tasks. And I saw some people talk about habits in there, which is why I knew that I didn't need to answer it because we're going to talk about it in a second. But I like to use a tracker because I've got a tracker in my Trend Life Master Planner. How convenient for me, right? So I outline habits of importance that I want to ensure that I do regularly, and I put them on a tracker, not on my monthly to-do list, because anything that's reoccurring, it's hard to like check that off a to-do list. You know what I mean? So having a tracker makes it much easier, simpler. It makes more sense to me to do it that way. So I will do that. And like I said, I use the habit tracker in my planner, but you can also make a list and put it on a sticky note for like reoccurring items. You know what I mean? And put it like week to week on your planner, or you can there's like stickers or things that you can put in your planner every week that like talk about your habits, or you can just list them out in your planner on the weekly. So I use the monthly tracker. So that's what I do. Okay. So let's go ahead and I'll just bring this down and you guys can see me fill out my monthly tracker. Yeah. Okay. Something I do like to do though here is, and I got to do a look over here. I like to mark off which day is a Monday, so I know like when new weeks are. So I'll just put like a dot under the day that's a Monday. 1, 8, 15, 22, 29. Okay, so those are my starts of the week, because my week starts on Monday. Yes, okay. Now, what are my habits that I need to do? Let's think about. Okay, just gonna write them in. Meditation. That's one that I want to do every day. Gratitude. Another daily thing. I'm gonna read a book. I like to read as often as I can, or listen to a book on tape, etc. I'm also a big proponent of trying to do self-care every day. So that'll be another daily sort of thing. These things don't always have to be everyday items, but they're just things that you want to do frequently enough. Okay. And if anyone wants to share as they're like writing out their habits, feel free. You guys obviously can see what mine are. Okay, I think that's it for like my personal things. And then I'll talk about like work tasks. I'm gonna actually just skip a line to do this. So every day, most days. This is also too where I will put my chores, right? So like vacuum, also organize my office. Okay. I also put like dollar signs down here because I would like to track like a no spend. I'm not like officially doing a no spend, but it's one of those things where I feel like if you track something, just the element of tracking it kind of makes you more mindful of it. So I'm going to put that on there too. Yeah. Okay. So I've got like this sort of like personal things and more like worky life things. Cool. So yeah. So then as I do them, I'll just check them off the list. Okay. So that is the fifth and final step. So now we have actually, what have I done here? Where's my thing? I'm missing a day. Oh, geez Louise, Lex. Put this in the wrong place. That's what happens when you have a disc down. Pages go missing. Have to be properly ordered. Okay. Okay, so you guys can see, and I'll turn this around so you guys can see it. I don't know if you're still going to be reversed, but better than nothing, right? There's the month on 2 pages with my tasks for each week. There's my monthly, and there's my monthly tracker. Okay, so that's everything planned out. The fifth and final step. Okay, so now going back here. Oh, let's see. I've got some comments. Anna says she's working on modified Clean Mama weekly routine, blog posts, spending time in the Word daily. Okay, praying the rosary, etc. Got it. Excellent. That's wonderful. RL is tracking exercise, water intake, and reading. Perfect. Joanne is doing habits of training, meditating, and learning Spanish. That's fun. Yeah, because again, like doing Spanish, right? Like that's like something that you want to like as frequently as you can practice it, you're going to get better. So that's a very good one to put in there because it's, again, a reoccurring event sort of a thing. Wanda says tracking morning routine, night routine, practice guitar, read, and side hustles. Now, for your morning routine and the night routine, are you like listing out all the routine items or are you just like writing in like morning routine, evening routine? Curious to know how you're doing that or if you're writing like the whole process out. Okay, so I have a little bit more while people are typing in there to share with you guys today. Okay, so like you guys said, I'm so glad there's still tons of you on here. So what do you guys think about today's Plan With Me class? Did planning your month with me and learning my strategies help you to create a functional plan? So I would love to see, I know you guys already said that this was very helpful, that first part. I would love to know if doing this sort of activity has been helpful to you. So feel free to leave it in the comments because I mean, I think that this can be helpful working it out with someone, right? It always helps to have someone with you. Like, even if I don't have all the answers for you guys, it's like great to have someone to like bounce things off of and to show you what they're doing. And, you know, like a whole group of people to like interact with is wonderful. So why did you show up today to this planning masterclass, right? This class we've done today. So maybe you struggle with planning, right? So that you're looking for a planner system that works and like learning how to plan. Obviously, this is a Plan With Me class, so many of you probably came for the planning aspect. Maybe you struggle with time management and you want to learn how to complete more in less time and with less stress, right? That makes sense too. Planning really helps you manage your time. Or you struggle with executing, right? So you want to overcome bad habits and establish productive routines for success. So we kind of talked about how we kind of break out of those bad habits of planning habits by like learning from our mistakes, right? So, you know, I think when you do these sorts of reviews, you are in a position to learn and get better. Maybe you struggle with focus, so you want to get clear on your priorities and put boundaries around them so you have the time for things that matter to you. Again, we talked about like the concept of OPP, other people's priorities, and sometimes we have to put up sorts of boundaries, right? We have to stop for a moment and not say yes immediately. Have a plan in our heads for what we're going to do when someone else comes to us and asks us something. Very important in order to find focus so that we have those things that we know we're working on. And that's another reason why, focus is really the reason why I do that choice of like the top 3 to 5 every week, because having those things that I know are like, these are things that are important and these are going to be like the most important items in my week that I need to get done, that gives me such clarity when I'm going to work that I know, you know what, if I get only 3 things done this week, it needs to be these 3 things. Or you struggle with balance, right? You want to achieve personal tasks and goals along with some other key priorities. And I know I saw a few questions about personal and work and how you manage those in your planner. Obviously, you guys can see I put everything in one planner. If you have not seen the video yet, I have a video that's how many planners you should be using, and my answer is 1. For most people, 1 is the answer, because you only have one life. You have 24 hours in a day, and it's up to you to schedule in those times for all the things that are your priorities, right? And we all go through like seasons in our life where maybe we're working more, or maybe we're not working more, but we're focusing more on our own like health or our own personal needs, right? So coming up with a balance, I really am not someone who loves the term work-life balance, but it really does vary according to your situation and where you are in your life. So if you're struggling to achieve balance and like trying to manage it all in your planner and trying to learn, the skills to, be someone who can manage their life day to day and get everything they want done, right? Then absolutely, that's a great reason to be here today. And I want to let you know that if any of those pertain to you, then I would love for you to let me help you, because I have the tools, strategies, and skills to help you manifest success and satisfaction in your life. And I want to talk to you guys about that today, just a little bit before we get to our Q&A. So I actually have a 3-part solution to productivity. If you guys have never heard me talk about this yet, it's all about tools, strategies, and skills. And I'm going to be reiterating that phrase to you, tools, strategies, and skills for productivity, to the end of time at this point. Step number 1 is to get the right tools, right? So a planner that includes functional spreads and worksheets to guide you in the learning process. That's the tool. That's why when we started this, I said, what are the tools you need for productivity in order to, partake in today's class? You need a planner, right? And you need a planner that works for you. Number 2, you want to learn the functional planning strategy, right? So there are different strategies for how to plan and how to be productive, right? And how to manage your time. I showed you I do this on a monthly basis, right? And I gave you guys some great insight for how I think about my tasks and how I manage my time. So if you take the time, right, to master the strategies for planning and time management so that you can stay on track, that's going to go a long way to helping your productivity and making sure that you're getting more of the things you want done in your life. And then number 3 is to develop the skills for lifelong productivity. So manifesting success takes more than just a planner and some time management techniques, but it also takes a mindset shift to focus on developing essential skills to make productivity a habit for your life. So today we talked about one of those skills a concept of this monthly review and going through this process of questioning ourselves. This is really, especially the element of today's class where we talked about what it is that were the roadblocks and what we can learn from them. Understanding and having that self-evaluation is a big skill in planning that can help you become a more productive person. I think many of you guys have kind of maybe experienced that mindset shift today. So I think you guys have seen it firsthand in today's class. So let me talk to you guys for a moment about the tools, strategies, and skills. Let's start with the tools for productivity. For me, the ultimate productivity tool is the Charmed Life Master Planner, right? And this comes in 3 versions: the bound undated, the bound dated, and the printable dated, which is what I was using today. So the Charmed Life Master Planner comes in 3 popular varieties to easily integrate functional planning into your lifestyle. And the links are in the description for all 3. So if you guys are using a planner that just you're like, I don't have space for this in my planner, or we're looking at what I'm doing and going, I wish I could do that. Well, you can. I've got 3 options right now for you to buy the Master Planner, and more are going to be on their way in the next month. So the Master Planner Undated, if you haven't seen more about that, these are the spreads. There's so many different spreads in these planners, which is what makes them really unique. The monthly, the tasks and expenses sheet, that is the sheet that's in the undated version. If you guys, I'll show you in a moment, you guys obviously saw the tracker. That's in my dated versions, have the tracker. And then we have a week on 2 pages, project matrix, project plans, notes, brain dump, brainstorm, and index sheets. And I have other videos if you want to go more in depth in that, or you can click links down below to see more about those. The master planner dated comes in in two varieties, either the printed version and bound or the print on demand version, which is what I was using. So let me pull this out here. Here is the 2019 bound, and then this was the unbound. And when you buy the 2019, it comes with the 2018 calendar, so you can use that. And the one difference between these planners is that this one has the monthly tracker and is dated. So there's two main differences between them. Monthly tracker instead of an expense sheet, and dates. That's the big difference. And of course, I've got links down below if you guys want to check them out. So I would definitely say that the Charmed Life Master Planner is the ultimate functional planning tool created by the functional planning expert herself, okay, right? So I coined this term functional planning years ago. I really developed this system, and I'm so glad to see that so many people have shifted from just thinking about planning as like pretty planning and stickers and decoration. That's all wonderful and nice. But if you're someone who wants to get things done, functional planning is the way to go. I developed this concept. I literally turned it into like a philosophy that I've been using for several years at this point. 2015 is really when that started. So that, yeah, 3 years at this point for that. So, learn from the expert herself. Links below. And then, of course, step number 2 is that strategy, that functional planning strategy. And I have that put together in the Master Planning Masterclass. So if you enjoy learning from me in these sorts of video settings like this, then you will probably get a lot of value from the Master Planning Masterclass. This is a 2-hour video masterclass that teaches you the complete functional planning philosophy, how to use the productivity tools inside of the Master Planner, my complete functional planning process with real examples, the yearly, monthly, weekly, daily, and project planning processes. We just covered part of the monthly, a good majority of the monthly today. So if you liked this today, right, there is yearly, weekly, daily, and project planning still to dive into deep. Okay. And it includes additional downloads and resources for planning in this masterclass. Now, the links are in the description to purchase the masterclass. It's normally $75, but it is now on sale for $49. And I also have a special bundle deal. If you're interested in getting the dated planner on demand, like the digital one, like the one I'm using right now, and the masterclass, you can get it for a bundle offer for $75 for both. So definitely it's like buying the class and getting the planner for free sort of a thing. So definitely check that out. Links are down below. And then that third step, right? It's tools, strategies, and number 3, skills. So the skills that I have put together for planning are all inside of the Productivity and Planning Mastermind. You guys have seen me, I actually mapped out things I need to do for this mastermind because it starts tomorrow. Our live session, our next live session starts tomorrow. So what is the Productivity and Planning Mastermind? It is a 6-module video course and 90-day mastermind group, okay? It is a unique learning and accountability experience that begins October 1st, tomorrow. It's intended to help you complete important goals and tasks for the year while going in deep to learn the essential lifelong skills of productivity, right? So I tell you guys all the time that I'm a productivity obsessed person. I am a permanent student of productivity. And I understand that not all of you can go out into the world and read all the books that I read and do all the studying that I do and talk to all different people to learn the way people work and how they execute and how they get motivated to get things done, right? But I'm doing that, right? So you don't have to do it. I have put it all into a class, a mastermind class that's a course with an accountability group that launches tomorrow. So what makes this special? Well, it's not just a prepackaged course, right? So it includes weekly homework, discussion threads, scheduled live Q&As that you saw were on my to-do list. I need to schedule my Q&As for the month of October because once the group actually formally starts tomorrow, I'm going to ask for feedback on when people want me to have those scheduled so that I can make them, times that apply to everyone or as many people as possible. So we're never going to get everybody in every single Q&A. But, this is something where you're going to get a course, homework, weekly experiences, and live participation with me. And it's not just another Facebook group mastermind. This course is housed in its own membership site. So all of the information is organized and accessible at any time. We'll be using the Facebook group for extra events and accountability. But if you don't do Facebook, you're not going to be missing out on the course, right? You're still going to be able to get all the modules, all the discussions, all the homework, etc. And this is a live mastermind with me. So I'll be giving you personal feedback and helping you one-to-one overcome your productivity issues so you end the year successfully and develop your productivity skills, right? So this isn't just like a masterclass where, I sell masterclasses where you can just learn on your own, download the videos, watch the videos, download the homework, do it at your own pace. This class is at your own pace, but it's structured like a 90-day accountability course, right? So like there's 12 weeks of content, really more than 12 weeks of content, but basically there's 12 weeks of content, and I drop new content to you every week. So you're learning bit by bit everything about productivity that I've like devoured and then like synthesized into a perfect package for you, everything you need to learn about a certain topic. Right. And so this is live with me. So you're going to be able to ask questions, follow along, engage with me. I know so many of you were so happy about the feedback I gave you in the, when we were doing those questions, when I sent you the email and you replied back. And that, is what you can get on a regular basis inside of the mastermind. So you're going to learn a lot of different topics. There are 6 basic modules, video modules in the course. So that 12-week program is half video modules. I drop one every other week, and then half like live Q&As and extra additional teaching that I use to supplement the course. So module number 1 is goal setting for success. You're going to identify your goals and convert them into actionable projects. So you're working towards what matters to you. Module number 2 is the functional planning processes, a streamlined method for planning accurately and with time to spare. Today was like a little taste of that. Module number 3, productive execution techniques. You're going to learn to understand your personal work style and which productivity techniques will help you achieve more in less time. Module number 4 is all about mastering habits and routines, where you're going to learn how to overcome your bad habits and replace them with routines for a successful life. As we know, there's a reason I have this habit tracker in here, because we know that when we can control our routines, we control our success. Module number 5 is inspiration through interference. This is how you're going to learn how to overcome setbacks and push through daily issues and interference through inspired action. If you like that Q&A session that we sort of did in the beginning, where we're really analyzing, that's going to go into a lot. That touches a lot on what this module number 5 is about. And then module number 6 is the personal growth mindset, where you're going to learn to continue your personal growth and skill set building for a lifelong lasting positive change to your quality of life and your productivity. Doesn't that sound awesome? So there are 2 options for the mastermind that are available right now. There's usually 3. There's only 2 left. So there's option number 1 is group coaching, where you get the 6 video modules, private Facebook group, printable course materials, activities and workbooks, weekly activities and accountability discussions, and unlimited Q&A with me during the 90-day live session. And we also have a private coaching option, which gives you everything enlisted in option number 1, plus 3 one-on-one calls with me. So you'll get 3 30-minute calls with me, 1 per month, for accountability and adjustments, where we can really talk one-on-one, get to the heart of your productivity issues, help you overcome them, and you can kind of like check in on me, and I can help you like hurdle any of the roadblocks that you get for the duration of the course. Now, there are limited spots available on this option, because it does involve a time element for me of coaching one-on-one. Now, what's the investment for this course? Well, similar 90-day accountability programs cost $2,000 or more for group coaching only, where you'll get access to a figurehead that dials in for calls. Your questions are answered by a staff with canned responses that they give to everyone. And once you make your initial investment, you're bombarded by new optional bonus paid offers. So your investment doesn't cover all of the wonderful things that are part of the course, right? They add extra things in, so you pay more. Now, private coaching and accountability calls can cost hundreds of dollars for a 60 to 90-minute session. Yeah, it costs thousands too, depending on who you're doing it with. The Productivity and Planning Mastermind is structured as an affordable alternative with no gimmicks or tricks. All the added value is complimentary. And like, even what I'm showing you guys today isn't everything you guys get. I like to have some surprises. Not showing all my cards, right? Now, what does it cost for option number 1, the group coaching? It's just $197 for 3 months of a course and accountability with me. And option number 2 that adds in those one-on-one calls is $397. So definitely way more affordable than the average mastermind that you can join. Who is this for? So I want to be very clear who this course is for, so you know if it's right for you. This is not just for business owners. Option number 1 and 2 that are available to you today are for anyone struggling with their productivity who needs accountability to learn the skills to improve their planning, time management, execution, focus, and balance, right? So all of those topics that we hit on earlier, that is who this is for. Now, you must be motivated to learn and engage, because I need your active participation on a weekly basis to shape the course and provide the most value. Now, are you ready to get started? If so, click the links down below for the mastermind option that you desire. You'll be redirected to my shop where you can add the option to your cart and check out via PayPal. You do not need to have a PayPal account to check out. You can enter a check, credit or debit card via PayPal. That's just the secure method that I use for accepting payments because my system doesn't actually process the payments. It's external. So you don't have to actually create an account. You will receive an email after checkout with a link to download the welcome PDF to set up your profile on the course website and directions for accessing the Facebook group. Now, weekly activities are going to start tomorrow, and content will be dripped to you weekly. So you'll have access to the course and modules for 1 year, right? So after the 90-day live session, you can go back and review information as needed. So this isn't just like it goes away after this quarter. You'll be able to come back and review things, but this is a unique time where I'm actually doing it live, which I don't always do this course live. So you get that extra value by being live with me and having the accountability factor and all that fun stuff. So I would invite you to join the mastermind today. You can join for only $197 via the link below. And when you do join now, you will be eligible for the Fast Action Bonus, which is a New Year's goal setting workshop with me. So remember, you're going to want to purchase before class begins tomorrow. And that's when the content starts getting dripped to you guys. And we will be doing a workshop a little later this year for New Year's goal setting. It's eligible to anybody who purchases in this time period. So definitely, if you enjoyed today's class and you want to get more with me, this is a way that you guys are going to be able to work with me more directly on a more consistent basis. So now let's go into Q&A, okay? So I'm going to now actually, that we've gotten to that, I'm actually just going to switch to full screen of me. Boop, I'm back. Okay, so we're going to start, we'll just do some Q&A, and I have questions in my email that I wanted to share with you guys. And I'm still checking out the comments too. So if you guys want to have questions. Okay, let's see. Lots of comments going on. Okay, let's see. Okay. You guys are talking about different worksheets and things. It's awesome. Jody says she loves my classes. Thank you so much, Jody. Let's see. Okay. Cindy said, are there sheets to print homework? Will it fit in the disc-bound print on demand master planner format? Okay. Let me show you guys something that I've got behind me. Okay. So this right here is actually the entire mastermind course. Okay. This is, and I know it looks scary. There's a lot of stuff. This is the printouts of the entire course, right? So not just the homework, but all of the video modules, like the slideshows are in here, the homework and everything. So yes, there are sheets to print in the mastermind course. You can absolutely, I recommend you print them. Like it's homework that you can print out on standard paper. I actually have just bound all of this together just for my own quick reference. But yeah, you print them out and you fill them out. You could choose to print them at half letter if you wanted to. I do have a video on that. And if you had any questions about how to do that, I can definitely show you how to print it so that it fits into like this discbound that I'm using like right now, right? So like this discbound is like a half letter, like junior size, it's considered from ARC discbound. But there is a way for you can print those things if you want to in the half letter. But you know, most people print pages full letter, but you can definitely do that. So yeah, there is homework that print out. You can put in your planner and take care of that. Keep It Real says, how often do you hold the class? So the class starts tomorrow and it ends at the end of the year. I drop new content via the mastermind website every week. So every Monday there's a new module, right? And so every other week we have a video module, and then every other week, the alternate weeks, I do a live Q&A that's going to be like a live, I'll be teaching you guys things to supplement what you learned in the previous module. And it's also like an opportunity for you to talk to me one-on-one live. Of course, when you're in the group, you can send me messages like whenever you want. And I'm there to like, you know, give you guys feedback via email or via the Facebook group. And then we also have discussion threads for every week with like discussion questions. And it's like an open, like kind of like a forum sort of, I'm not gonna say forum, but it's like a more like it's a more managed thread, like a nestled thread. I don't know what the terminology is, but yeah, there's a discussion every week that you can participate in. And then the Facebook group has additional things like accountability. So we're doing 30-day challenges in the Facebook group. And like the first one is going to be like a gratitude challenge where I'm dropping, I gave you guys like a worksheet for gratitude, and you're going to try to see like how many days you can check off with gratitude, which is one of the reasons gratitude is on my monthly tracker, because I'm participating, in the mastermind as well. So the class is like live, like with me every other week, but every week there's things for you to do. And of course, you pretty much like have me like in the course, like in the Facebook group, or if you email me, I'm there for you. So hope that answers it. But I don't often do this class live, right? So I like to do it in Q4, but I make no promises when the next time I'm going to do this is, because things in my life change like so quickly, but I am committed to doing it this quarter. So it will be Q4 of this year. So this is it for now. What is the Facebook group? The Facebook group is just a group for the mastermind. So it's the accountability group that you get it with the course. So it's not like a public, it's like a private or secret group. I'm not sure which one it is, but it's only for members of the mastermind. And it's where we do things like extra accountability, right? Like we're doing like the gratitude. This is where people are going to share like what they're working on. Basically what we did today with like this, the format of the like, what did you get done? What did you miss? That sort of stuff is things we'll be doing like on a weekly basis in the group on Facebook. I hope that makes sense. So I do want to go and answer some really great questions too. But if you have questions, right, please leave them in here too. And I will honor who is here. But I also want to start on some of the questions that were in email, because there were so many wonderful questions. I just got to get them organized on my email. Here we go. Okay. Start down here. Okay. Okay, here was a very great question. And I think for just to keep people's identity safe, I'm not going to tell you who the person was that asked the question, but I'll just read the emails. And some of these I responded to as well. So I'll tell you guys like how I responded to this. So someone says, I have a pretty set schedule of the same stuff every day, like take baby to daycare, take the kids to school, work, school, home, dinner, etc. How can I make my planner more fun for me? I skip weeks sometimes because I'm just blah with it, looking like the same thing every day. Okay. So what I said in response, right, was that the way I'm looking at this, right, is do you have any projects or goals that you want to work towards that could be integrated, right? Because I can totally see how if you're the kind of person that just has the same repetitive schedule day in and day out, why would you necessarily be using a planner just to do the same schedule every single day, right? So this is why our planners are really considered a tool, right? Because this is a tool for helping us get things done that are really, I say, more than just what our daily schedule is. That's why a lot of these things that I focus on here are my tasks. And that's also why my planners, like especially this one I'm using right now, it does have the ability for you like on the daily basis, like on the week on 2 pages. Let me just take you to like a blank week on 2 pages. But like, let's see, like in the week on 2 pages, right? There is an ability for you to add times, but I don't put times in there because if you're someone who does live off of a schedule, that's one thing. But I think for the most people usually don't live off of a very set schedule. So I think it's more about prioritizing individual tasks, remembering what those, important meetings are or scheduled events were that you have to go to, appointments or things like that. But also just, understanding these are the priorities for the things that I want to get done in a day. I think if we get too into the idea of a schedule, again, there are some people who this is their life and this is for very good reason, the way that they work. Let's say like, I know like my nail girl, right? The girl who does my nails, her day is like who her appointments are, you know what I'm saying? So she is all about her schedule, right? But that's not going to be every single person. And I think for most of us, if we think about how we're planning in terms of the time, a lot like I'm going to do this at 11, I'm going to do this at 12, I'm going to do this at 1. I think that gets overwhelming. And like if you something takes longer than you expected, it's so easy for it to have like that negative domino effect. If you're planning out by time. So I really only recommend planning out by time if you absolutely need it. But yeah, that's the purpose of a planner, is to be a tool to help you get things done. So if you don't have other goals and things that you're working towards, projects, and I know those terms are sometimes, I use them interchangeably. Like I consider them like objectives, right? So like things that you want to get done, things that you're trying to do. Maybe the things you're trying to do are lose weight. Maybe the thing you're trying to do is finish a college degree. Maybe the thing you're trying to do is buy a home, right? You have something that you're working towards. But those things that we're working towards very often require daily effort for us or weekly effort from us. We have to touch those projects on a regular basis in order to move them forward. So you really need to get in touch with what it is that you want. Now, if you don't want anything and you're just totally fine living your daily schedule day in and day out, that's wonderful, right? Then maybe a functional planner isn't necessarily what you need, and that's okay. But I cater specifically to the people who are, looking to manage their time, get more done, to bring more success, happiness, fulfillment into their life. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, so let's see. Is this a question? Why is it marked as a question? Okay. Okay, so I have another question here that someone said that what they struggle with is motivation. They have all the tools in the shed, they say, and I know what I need to do and get stuff done, but it just doesn't get done when it's meant to get done. So they plan a lot, but they think they lack the mindset to actually do things when they need to be done, which is very, very common. We make plans and we don't do them in exactly the time frame we expect. So I followed up with, what with your motivation, do you forget about tasks and feel unmotivated to accomplish them, right? Because it depends on what the situation is that you're in, right? So she said that I feel unmotivated to complete them, be it for my blog or at work. It eventually gets done, but not when it's meant to. But when I'm in flow, I'm unstoppable. It's getting into flow that is the challenge that makes her think that it's mindset. So I said, is it when you get things done later than expected, does that cause an issue, right? Because I think a lot of us feel really bad when we make plans and then like we didn't get this thing done on Monday, we got it done like 2 weeks from now, right? Now there's a difference between tasks that like absolutely need to be done in a certain time frame and then tasks that like it really doesn't matter when we get them done. A lot of our personal goals are sometimes like that, which is why it's so easy to push them off until, next week or tomorrow or next month, right? But if you're still someone who's getting the things done, just maybe not exactly on the time frame you expected, and it's not causing you problems, then I think you're being a little too hard on yourself if that's your situation. And that's what I would say to you is that, if you are, I would say stay in that flow of getting things done and seeing the positive because you are moving things forward. And I think a lot of times, especially women get really hard on ourselves when we set these expectations that we have to do this in a certain time frame. Yes, setting a time frame to get things done is very important, but there's a difference between struggling with getting things done that really do need to get done in a certain time frame versus having things where you're being a little bit more flexible about the time and you're getting it all done eventually. Like for me, I think that a lot of times actually has to do with understanding your work style, right? Because all of us have like one of a few different work styles. And if you understand that work style, sometimes it's easier for you to understand how you should also be planning. So the concept of work styles is definitely something that we talk about. I told you, it's in one of the modules, which one off the top of my head, I cannot remember, but I think probably time management. But that is something we definitely go into is understanding what your work style is, because that's very important part of understanding how to plan effectively is knowing the kind of, the way that you actually are motivated to work. Let's see. Serena said she had to switch to using a task list instead of scheduling it on a particular day because she got disheartened when I didn't do it on time. Exactly. Even if it didn't need to be done on that specific day. So this is something that like is a situation that I'm really here to tell you guys. If that is the situation you're in, like Serena, please do not feel bad if you don't get the things done. That's the situation that I get so scared when it comes with planning and talking about scheduling, because we have this concept of that we need to get things done at a certain time. And there is a difference between, I need to prep for my Halloween party before that Halloween party, you know what I'm saying, happens. But there's no reason, come Sunday, once it's the next day, for me to do any work that was on that to-do list for the project plan for the Halloween party, right? Because the time is now over. So if I completely failed to plan my party, yeah, I could feel bad about that, right? But a lot of the things that we work on really don't have a designated time slot for when they need to be done. Now, that is an excuse to say procrastinate, procrastinate, procrastinate. But what I am saying is, if you are someone who's getting things done, just not always in the time frames, please do not let that dishearten you, because time is really a construct. There are only very specific situations where we have to get things done at a certain time, right? So if you are in that situation, I want you to be relieved, right? I don't want you to feel bad about it, because I think it's more important for you to focus on the wins and the victories that you even got the thing done. I think when you start focusing on what you're doing right, it's going to make you feel that confidence and motivation and positive momentum, so that, guess what, maybe more of your projects get done in the arbitrary time period that you set for yourself, right? Because you're focused on the positive results, not on the arbitrary negatives. And Serena said she's definitely too hard on herself. If there's an unchecked box at the end of the day, I get anxious and feel defeated. So that adjustment has helped you not to stress. That's excellent. Excellent. Carmen's asking something about pondering what is the difference between maker scheduling versus manager scheduling, how to accommodate both. I'm not sure what you're talking about. If you could give me more details. In the meantime, I'm going to pop on to, I want to see if I can answer a question for someone who said they were not going to make it. Yes, here we go. So here's one who said that they're going to watch the replay. So I'm going to answer this for them here. Question is, how do you set a goal and stick to it? I know all the tips, like set attainable goal, give it a time frame, etc. But if I want to reach a goal at the end of the month, how do I actually get it done? What can I do on a daily and weekly basis to help keep me on track? So the answer to this question really was very much today's actual core, like what we did today in this class. So the idea of having you have a project actually written out on a project plan, but then you take the tasks that apply to the month that you're in and move it on that monthly task list and prioritize what are the 3 most important things I need to be doing this week to move my priorities forward, right? Constantly just having view of those things and being very clear on what those things are that you need to work on. Being very clear on what you're focused on is very important. Now, we didn't talk about weekly planning, but I'm sure you guys can extrapolate that we're now if I was going into weekly planning right now, which I will do later on today, I will go and plan next week, obviously, because Monday is tomorrow. I will plan out my week ahead. It would be a very similar sort of process to this, right? Where I'm going to be looking at that master task list. I'm going to look at the 3 things that I listed out that I needed to be priorities and make sure I set the time for them, right? So it's not about doing all the things at once, but it's about breaking out your projects into chunks so that you're managing your time. You don't have to work on a project for a week straight until it's done. You absolutely can, work on piece by piece throughout the month to get it done. So I hope that watching me, partition out those top 3 for the week really helped you, so you could see how it is that I take things from being on my master task list to actually being assigned to a week and actually get done in a week. And 3 things, you might think 3 things, that's not a lot of things to do. Exactly. I'm not overwhelming my schedule with too many things. I am choosing things strategically that I know that I can get done in a week. Or in that example that I showed you guys while we were talking, that one of the to-dos was to work on some worksheets. I didn't feel like I was going to be able to get the whole thing done in a week. Just knowing that project, knowing it in my head. And this is all from my own personal experience, right? Because I'm someone who reviews what I can do and what I can't do. So I know what my capacity is. There's a chance I'll get all of them done in 1 week. But if not, I wanted to have that rollover, right? So I could say, okay, work on some this week and some more this week, and then it'll be done, right? So instead of getting overwhelmed saying I have to get it all done and then really getting nervous and then failing to even act because you're nervous, I'd rather be in the situation to give myself more time than less time. So I hope that answers that question to the one who is watching a replay. I'm going to find more of the replay people, because there were a few of those. Let me check here. Make sure if you guys have questions, I want to answer yours first. So this idea that Carmen says of the maker scheduling versus manager scheduling, she's saying that maker scheduling is the ability to schedule a couple of hours for deep work. Manager scheduling is essentially smaller segments because your focus is, oh, so this is based on like the type of work you're doing, I guess? And your question is, well, I'm a little confused, Carmen, just because you asked me like the difference, but you were able to tell me the difference. So you know the difference. You already know it. um, how to accommodate both. Um, I don't, to me, I don't see a difference between the two things. You're just telling me that it's different types of work that the person's working on, that either they're scheduling a block of time. Okay. Maybe that's what you're saying, like scheduling a block of time to go deep on a project. Maybe the way that I might go deep on, if I was creating a new, like a maker, if I was creating a new planner, right? I would have like a chunk of time maybe devoted. That would mean that the day that, and we're talking more on a weekly basis here, and today's topic is actually monthly, but I will answer this question on a weekly basis. Then what I would do is, if I knew that something that I need to get done, for example, this is on the list, is to work on the personal size Charm Life Master Planner, right? Like the printable version of it for the inserts. That's something where that is going to be all I probably put on my top 3 that day, because that's a big thing that I need to work on. It might, again, like how I split that worksheet task into 2 weeks, I might actually just schedule that for a few days to really give myself a lot of flexibility to be creative. Whereas a day that I might be doing more menial manager work, yeah, that might be a day where I just have a to-do list of things that take a few minutes to do. But that is more for the weekly planning than the monthly planning that we're talking about today. But I hope that helps, right? It's all about giving yourself enough space, right, to actually, get the work done. So if you know something's going to take you 5 hours to do, then obviously that's going to be a big chunk of your maybe 8-hour workday, right? And if I know that I'm just going to do something like respond to a bunch of emails or make calls or something like that, those are quicker things, right? So I know that I'll be able to do more calls or more emails in the same, in a workday than I would honestly being able to design an entire planner, right? So I think that makes sense. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's see. Okay, so you guys are talking more about this. Okay, so it just sounds like this is like a concept that someone has in a productivity book, right? So by Chris Bailey, if anyone's interested, it says. But okay, your peak productivity times during the day. That is something that we talk about in the mastermind for sure. So it sounds like this idea of, it sounds like this is just a philosophy for how people break out their time. To me, all the work we do is like either an individual task or a project, right? This is just my philosophy, right? The way I break things down. And to me, it's just about knowing, is this something that's going to take me X amount of time, right? When you're breaking down a project, it's very important that you have a reasonable expectation of knowing the amount of time something should take, right? I know that it will take me less than 5 minutes to RSVP to a party that I got an invite for, right? That takes me less than 5 minutes. But I know that it'll take me probably 4 to 6 hours to make a planner or more, right? So then I have to map when I'm putting that to do on my list, right? I know this might sound like very, almost like a no-brainer for some people, but I understand that this is why you guys are bringing it up, because obviously it's something someone's struggling with. But if you know that you have to do something that's a big thing that's going to take you hours to achieve, right? You wouldn't put that on the same day with a lot of other work, right? Because it's just not reasonable, right? Which is one of the reasons why we go through this planning process, right? So that we can move our items around kind of like chess pieces, or like, like a puzzle piece, we'll say, so that we create a schedule for ourselves. And I don't like that I even said schedule right then, but we create a workload for ourselves that's manageable, right? We create a task list for ourselves that is manageable for a given day. And that's one of the reasons why I'm a big proponent of the daily top 3 list, right? Because when you look at when you're choosing 3 items for your day, like if you think like, oh, I get more than 3 things done a day. Absolutely. I absolutely get more than 3 things done in a day. But when I'm focusing on what the most important things are, I'm moving the big picture items forward, right, in a big way. And then I also have time in my schedule to fit in little things. And that goes into another one of my weekly planning topics, like the Power Hour, which is, again, something that I teach more in the class, something I've talked about in different videos and things. But yes, you guys are really asking me now about like the full productivity picture, and I'm really trying to stay focused on the monthly. But I hope that kind of helps. It sounds like this is just like a lot of, if you've been like me, who's been studying productivity for such a long time, I've read so many different books that to me, they're all talking about the same thing with different verbiage, right? And that's why I created a course like the Mastermind, right? Because if you read one book and then you read another book and you're like, wait, these two things are totally different, right? To me, they're not different. I have been able to synthesize them so that I'm speaking a language that's universal for this productivity book that you guys have mentioned, or like another one, like Getting Things Done or Scrum, right? Like we're talking about, there's so many different philosophies for how you could be planning, right? I have read most of the books. I'm not gonna say most of the books, there's so many. I've read a lot of the most popular philosophies and found those things that are the same in all of them, right? Like, all this person's you calling it this and this person's calling it that, but truly all it is a project plan, right? It doesn't matter if it's something where, it's a maker or a manager. There's still tasks that take a certain amount of time. You have an expectation for how long it's going to take, and therefore you need to manage your expectations so you're not doing too much in one day. And then ultimately what's going to end up happening is you're going to most likely fail because you've overscheduled a day, which is why I love that concept of a white space, which honestly is not spoken about enough in enough books. Honestly, that's one of the things that I think is missed out a lot, is no one talks about white space enough. And that's the concept of really having buffer time in your day, because guess what? We make a plan and most of us don't stick to it every day, right? Most of us shuffle things around. Most of us put something else on the bottom and wipe it off, right? Like, we're not going to get this done. So if you really want to get it done, planning for white space is also important. Okay, let's see. Okay, so people are talking about project planning now. Yeah, project planning is a lot of this. And I know that term, again, the term project planning makes a lot of people think of something specific. Literally, it's just objectives, right? Things that you want to get done, right? Losing weight, I approach it like a project, right? Which means it's a collection of tasks, individual tasks that are going to reach you to a specific goal, right? That's all it is. Now, whether or not we call it manager tasks or maker tasks or however we call it, it doesn't matter. It's all work that is moving us forward to a specific objective. Okay, let's see. I want to try to find the people who are not going to be able to be here. Okay, so I had somebody here. This was like a long chain that didn't like to use didn't like to use any sort of weekly pages. They like to plan on the monthly and then use note pages. And she was asking me what would be a good solution for that. And I told her to check out bullet journaling, right? So many of you here may already be familiar with the concept of bullet journaling. Again, this is something where I'm personally not going to do this because I haven't bullet journaled in a long time, but there's lots of different ways that you can manage planning out your day, right? My functional planning, my planner, the way that it is broken out is really catered towards the functional planning methodology. But there are other ways that you can be planning as well. Let me see, what was this one? Oh, someone had asked me if I had different planners for work, life, and budget, and how do I combine them? I think I already touched on this, that I've made a video on how many planners you should be using. Most people, one. And when I say most, if you're not the one that counts, then you're not in the most, right? And that's fine. But most people, one planner. And that video, if you search it on my channel, will explain to you what the scenario is when you're not in that most. Okay, so that's a live. Someone else was asking, how do you actually get into the topic of, how do you get into the habit of planning? When, let's say you sit down and you make your plan. Let's say you guys sit down with me today, make the plan, you put your planner away, and then don't touch it all month or all week or whatever. If that's you, my number one tip for this is to leave the planner out and open in an area that you frequent, either in your home or at work, somewhere where you are literally going to see it. If it's not your impulse to open up your planner every day when you sit at your desk, maybe you just need to leave it out on your desk, right? Or leave it out on the counter in your kitchen, or leave it by your bedside, like open, so that you have a chance to review it. Or if you're someone who spends a lot of time getting ready, doing their hair and makeup in the morning, going to work, maybe you leave your planner in your bathroom where you're getting ready, right? Or wherever your beauty station is. But leave it somewhere so that you will glance at it, because it's a high frequented area for you. And then hopefully what happens is you glance at it, you look at your top 3, you think about it, you pick up the planner, you take it with you, you put it in your bag, you take it with you wherever you're going, et cetera, et cetera. But that's my number one tip to actually getting into the habit, is leaving the planner out and open, not just out, open to like whatever the current week is. Like after this, I will leave my planner out, open, and put it over here. Like just put it over here on my desk. Let's see. And feel free if you guys have any other questions. Okay, here's another good question. How do you plan for a month if you're currently ill and you know you physically will not be able to be at your top game? Okay. I have also made a video about this called How to Plan with an Illness. And in this scenario, if you're someone who suffers from either a short term or sort of long term illness that really just hits your capacity to get things done, then I think it's very important that you honor the fact that this is your situation and try to plan as little as you can. I know there's always things in life that we have to do, but if you're someone who is ill, either again, a temporary illness or something that is something that you struggle with long term, I think it's very important for you to really manage your own expectations for what you're going to be getting done, because in this scenario, your health is probably the number one priority to you, right? It's probably more important to you that you get better or feel better, which you're going to need to do anyway if you're going to get anything done. So if it really should be that your health is your number one focus with that, because the way that I see priorities, you should always be your number one priority. And so if you're struggling with a health related situation, the truth is that you aren't going to be like at your top game. And it means that you really should limit your planning to things that are only absolutely necessary, so you do not overwhelm yourself. I cannot tell you how many times I've talked to people within our community or students who have joined my classes who have said, like, I just can't get as much done because I'm ill, or I have, this is, something I was recently diagnosed with. It's going to be like a long-term problem. How do I get my productivity back up to like your level, Alexis, right? Or like where it used to be when I was healthy. And the truth is that you're just not going to at this point, right? Doesn't mean you won't ever get back to where you were, but you do have to honor where you are right now, because that's the only way you're going to get better. The only way you're going to get better is by taking care of yourself in the now and not overwhelming yourself. And so many people who do struggle with illnesses that are ongoing really do feel like they need to compare themselves to others and do as much as other people are doing. And that's just absolutely not true. This is another reason why I'm very much a proponent of, I don't think that the answer to productivity is more, isn't like hustle to me. It's not like daily grind, hit it hard, fit in as much as you can. You guys will never hear me talk to you guys about fitting in as many, tasks as you can into your 24-hour day, right? Because to me, that is a horrible way to live. Like that's a horrible, very problematic way to live. So for me, it's all about really getting clear on your vision, getting clear on your priorities, getting clear on what is important to you and what you really want to make happen in your life, and then making a strategic plan. Because when you sit and you're strategic, when you spend time like we have today, planning out what you need to do and dropping the pieces where they belong in your calendar, right? That helps you to make progress on what it is that you want in your life in a period of time, right? You might not get exactly what you want tomorrow, but by making small steps in a positive direction and being very intentional about the steps you take, right? You will eventually achieve your goal, right? Depending on how big or small the goal is. Anna has asked about dealing with overwhelm when you have no choice but to bulldoze through. Could you give me an example of what you mean when you're dealing with when you're saying you have to bulldoze through? I mean, I think that I do have another video on this. I hate to say like I have a video on this, but I think that when you are dealing with overwhelm, uh, essentially what is happening, overwhelm is all in your head, right? I mean, everything that we go through in our life, it's all in our head actually, but overwhelm, it's like a state where your brain has really, like your brain waves have gotten crossed to a point where you can't see clearly at what you need to do. So a lot of times people like have lists, have a lot of things to do, and they get overwhelmed because literally the signals have been crossed in their brain. And I do plan on actually making more videos on this topic of how you get those things to change. But overwhelm is something that you experience in yourself, right? And everyone has a different capacity at what point they get overwhelmed. And like for me, like I normally have a really good threshold, like a lot of things don't overwhelm me, but if I've been feeling stressed out, right, I will jump into overwhelm very quickly. It could be like one thing lands on my desk that's new and it's like, whoa, I can't handle this, right? Because I'm not in the right mind space. This is why it's really important that if you are someone who struggles with overwhelm, I think it's incredibly important that you take a step back and think about how you can be approaching your health and your brain and like your focus mentally, like your mindset mentally, which is why I talk about mindset a lot with the planning, the idea of planning. This is why habits, right? And the meditation, the gratitude, the self-care, that's why these things are on my list as part of my productivity, because these are things that help me to keep my head in the right place. Quite literally, not just focused on the right things, but literally to help my brain to be working at its optimal quality, right? So if you're someone who is struggling with overwhelm, I think the first thing you need to do is take a step back, right? You need to take a step back, a major step back. And what I mean, like stop what you're doing, right? Because anything that you add on while when you're in overwhelm is just going to add, it's just going to domino. You take a step back, do what you can in the moment to shut your brain down, right? A very easy way to shut your brain down is to take a nap, right? Sleep, right? That's a way to put your brain into literally a different brainwave state. And that's what we're talking about when we're saying having your mind in the right place. It's literally your brain has many different states it can be in its brainwaves. And when you get overwhelmed, it's because you've been in a high beta brain state for too long. So you need to go to sleep, get yourself down to like an alpha or a delta or a theta, okay? Which I know I'm saying words that most of you probably don't understand, but these are brainwave states, right? So take a nap, take a step back, put on music, close your eyes, right? The quickest way you can get yourself out of a bad brainwave state where you're overwhelmed is actually to close your eyes. It's sensory deprivation. So if you can close your eyes and if you could put headphones on or something that's gonna block your ears, right? That will help you to shift the state in your brain out of overwhelm. Now, if you can stay in that state for like, I'm going to say, I hate to say like I really think you need to be in it like for an hour or two, like to pull yourself fully out of it, 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes minimum, right? I know that everyone talks about like the benefits of meditation. They're like 5 minutes a day, positive, benefits of meditation. You really need to be there for like 30 minutes, honestly, to be really honest, in order to get your brain signal to change. You really need to be there for like 30 minutes to an hour out of that state and into a lower state that's more calm. And then once you've gotten into that state, right, close your eyes, put the eye mask on. I keep an eye mask at my desk for this reason, because if I get overwhelmed, I put it on. Eye mask on, headphones on, or earmuffs on. I might even use aromatherapy, again, because we're resetting our system, our senses, right? We need to change. We need to shock our brain out of that state that it's in. And then once we've been in that state for, like I said, like 30 minutes to an hour at least. 30 minutes is absolute minimum, I really think. I know I can say 15. I know some people will say 5. Scientifically, it's not right. Like it's not accurate. So 30 minutes at least, an hour would be wonderful. Then you come back to your desk, come back to work, whatever you're working on, and then ask yourself, right? Okay, looking at all this stuff in front of me, you might need to make yourself a new to-do list. Just pull some scrap paper out, make a new to-do list. And then say, okay, what makes the most sense in this moment? Now I'm seeing all the work I have in front of me. What's the next thing I can do that'll make the best impact? And once you've changed your brain waves, once you've changed out of those states that are negative, where you're really overwhelmed and very high strung, right? once you've been brought back down to a normal state, it will be much easier for you to see the answer for what you need to do next. And you'll actually find that you're going to be more motivated to get the work done because you're in a better brainwave state. And you're actually going to find, wow, my brain is working clearer. Wow, I see now. Like, and you might even think, oh, how can I not have seen this before? Right? We all go through this. So like we look at a problem over and over again. And one day we look at it and we're like, oh, now I see the answer. It's because you probably weren't looking at it during the right brainwave state. So this is something where I probably need to do a whole video about it. But I hope that helps. If you're dealing with overwhelm and you need to bulldoze through, you have to take a break. You have to. Or all the work you're going to do is just going to pile on top. And honestly, it's easier to take an hour break and then come back to it with the right brainwave state. And what we would say fresh eyes, right? That's easier to do than to bulldoze through. And it's really going to put you in a worse state. And it's going to mean that whatever work you got done is probably going to be not good. And it's going to put you in not only in a mentally, physically bad place, but it also will start to stress your body out and put your body in a panic mode that could make you sick. You know what I mean? So this is why really caring for your mindset really goes very, very much hand in hand with productivity. So, okay. So I'm going to go back to this and just double check on these. Okay. Someone asked a great question of, how do you remember to write important things down? Because once they sit down to plan, they're saying they have forgotten the thing that they needed to write down, right? So if you're someone who struggles with writing things down, my solution for this is that you really need to write things down immediately, right? Don't ever think that you're going to be able to remember anything. And this is like a habit that you need to it's a bad habit that you need to break, thinking that you're going to be able to remember something. But your brain is really not meant for storage. It's meant for processing. So if you have something that you need to do, something you need to write down, I recommend having a notebook with you, like either in your bag or some sticky notes or something that you can keep with you in a pen or something like that, so that you can write it down so that you don't forget it. So then when you go down to sit down and plan, you've got the reference point. Something I do is I have notes apps in my phone. So a lot of people ask me like how I integrate my phone with my planning as well. And one of the big things I do is I have apps, like, I have a few apps that I use where I just use it for ideas and thoughts and like organizing thoughts, so that when I go down to sit down to make my plan, I can refer to that list and I capture all the ideas. Now, does it work 100% of the time? No, sometimes we think of things and then it's out of our brain before we write it down. But the more you get into the habit of writing things down immediately, either on a computer, on a phone, on a notebook, whatever, that's how you're going to be able to capture more information on a more regular basis so you don't miss things. Okay. So, you guys, we've been on for way longer than I thought. This is 2.5 hours. So much for an hour long, right, you guys? But if you guys have any more questions, I think we should maybe we'll start wrapping up. So there's still a lot of you on this call. So if anyone has questions, I'm going to stop looking at my emailed questions now and focus just on you guys here, because I think I've gotten everyone who said they weren't going to come live, and I told them that I would answer the question on the call. So let me know if you have any questions so I can answer those before we close out. So how do you guys feel about this? I feel like we got a lot out of this. We have some really great conversation going on. Oh, here's a question. I missed this. What would you suggest for someone who loves the portability of a half-size classic size planner, but owns a business and needs to use a full-size paper for contracts, etc., and needs to keep those on hand? Could you use like a half-size planner and then maybe have like a sort of like an attaché or something? I have a few attachés that I actually keep paperwork in, like when I'm on the go. Is that something you could do? If not, and like you really feel like you need to you only want to have one thing, then I would say your default is then use a full size planner, like a full letter planner. That would be my recommendation. Just do what you need to do to get it done. I know we always don't get to fit all of our needs. I always really want to have, I actually, one of my big things is I really wish I could use a personal size planner, but I know that like I really just need a half letter, right? So I would love to use a personal, but the half letter is where I'm at. It's like what I need. And it's, I'm not going to complain because I work from home. It's not like I need to carry my planner around, but you got to do what you got to do, right? And if you know you need X, sometimes you just have to swallow it, bite the bullet, swallow it, and just do what needs to get done because it's ultimately going to be the best for you and your business moving forward. The replay will be available after this is over. I can't tell you how long it's going to take because there's a processing time on YouTube's end, and it pretty immediately, maybe in like the next hour or two. Lou asked, "What is the latest book read on productivity, or the best book you recommend?" Honestly, it depends on what you struggle with. Um, it really does depend on what you struggle with. Um, I I would say that if project planning is something that's big, like I really like the book Scrum. I think that's probably the best project management sort of philosophy. I implement certain elements of Scrum into what I do. It's more for team. Scrum is really more for teamwork, but I love the principles of it. Um, yeah. Now, if you guys don't want to read a bunch of books on productivity, I will tell you this is why I make my master classes, right? Because I take all of the information that I learn and synthesize it into my classes. So, really, if you don't want to spend the time reading like a bunch of different productivity books, I have put together master classes for this reason on productivity and planning. So, if you struggle with planning, the master planning masterclass, and you want to learn like the functional planning philosophy, that's the master planning masterclass. If you want to learn, I mean, really, the mastermind is everything. It's like everything that I'm working on, everything that I have, like all the best things that I've learned that I want to pass on to you, is in the mastermind. So, you can buy a bunch of books and read a bunch of books and digest it yourself, or I've got a course that has basically the sum of all the knowledge that I have found on productivity in one place. Let's see. And Lou says, go back and watch all her videos. They're like college courses. Yeah, I know. And those are videos. Again, the videos even are like on single topics, and it's like still a lot to watch, right? So, like, this is why I make these courses and these classes, because I literally take the best of everything and put it together and present it to you in like the easiest format to digest and implement. That's one of the things is that, like, you hear me talk on these calls and in my other videos, and I cross-reference so much stuff. And when you watch the videos one by one, like, yeah, you can sit there and spend a lot of time watching all my videos. I have a lot of information out there, but then I have these courses where I have that information plus even more that has been synthesized into be a more digestible action plan, so that we're integrating all of those elements of productivity in a holistic way, right? Like, I know that's a very overused word, holistic, right? But that's the way I think about productivity, is all the different areas that go into it. Like, the fact that we talked about brainwave states on this call, like, was probably the last thing anyone would have expected. But there's a lot of physical science that goes into productivity. There's a lot of theoretical things that go into it, a lot of philosophy, just personal philosophies that go into it. And that's what these courses are for. This is what my mastermind is all about, is me giving you the information in a way that is immediately actionable to you in that holistic way. Okay. Well, oh wait, here's a question maybe. I know you have videos on this, but what are the top things you look for in a planner system when you're shopping for one? What are your top apps that you're using for productivity right now? All my productivity apps are like note stuff. So there's one called Clear that I use. I use the Notes app on my phone. I use the calendar on my phone, just generic things. And then top things I look for in a planner system. I'm not shopping for a planner system because I have mine. So like if anyone were to say to me, Alexis, what's the best planner to use so I can execute on everything that you're saying? I hate to sound like salesy. It's mine. If you look at my videos, this planner, like I've changed little things about it, but this system is what I've been using since 2015. Like I grew my business on this planner. Like bought a house with this planner, you know what I mean? Like not with the planner, but like with the help of a planner, you know what I mean? So, there's lots of things. There's lots of different planners out there. There's other systems that you can create, you can make your own, you can find the pieces and put it together. But if you were saying, Alexis, like what planner should I just buy right now? My question would be to you, do you want to print one or do you want to buy it bound? You know what I mean? That's my question to you because they're here. And I don't just say that because they're my planner, but I say that because it's the planner that goes along with this full philosophy. Does it mean that you have to have my planner? No, you absolutely do not have to have my planner. You can achieve the same end results with other planners. That's why I think it's so important to learn the functional planning philosophy in something like the Master Planning Masterclass, because that is going to show you, I guess it will show you the pieces you need. But I guess something as close to my planner as you can possibly get would be great. And what makes the master planner really so much different is that it's not just the calendar, right? So let me see if I can just pull you guys down so you guys can see. But it's not just, here, let me start from like a fresh month. It's not just a calendar, right? Right? This is the calendar portion that we dealt with today. But it's also a project planning section, right? With projects where you can break out projects. And this is not filled right now because, like I said, I'm moving into this from my other planner. And projects with notes, right? Actually project plans, a whole bunch of them. And then it's also a brilliant ideas section. And I know you guys are seeing this in reverse, but it's brain dumping, organizing, and brainstorming. Oh, you guys can't see this. What did you lose? Brainstorming, plan and prep. This was brain dump, organize and act. This is more than just a planner. Most planners is just this part in the beginning that I showed you. Most planners are a calendar and like maybe some to-do lists, if you're lucky, a tracker, and then like weekly spreads, right? That's a planner to most people. This is an Alexis planner. Like this is a functional planner, okay? That has spots for you to break down your goals into projects, map them out for the year, brain dump your ideas, organize them, brainstorm projects before you turn them into project plans, brainstorm them, organize them, plan and prep them. And then of course, the most basic of things that like most planners have too, notes, and then we've got index sheets back up here too, index sheets too. So that is what makes this planner different. Like this is why this is my planner. It's been my planner for 3 years at this point. And that's why, like, again, I'm not going to say that you have to use my planner, like in order to be productive, but why wouldn't you if you wanted to be productive? Like, Anna, if I didn't have mine, I would have a system that looked just like this, which would honestly, unfortunately be probably like probably have to carry like 3 different things, right? Because this is, like I said, just the beginning portion of this, like just the calendar portion is what a normal planner is. So I guess I would have what was a planner that was popular, I don't know. And then I would have another project planning thing. Like, does anyone even know of another planner that does time management, like the calendars, like monthly and weekly and task lists, plus project planning? And then on top of that, the brainstorming and the brain dumping and the areas for that. Like I've never seen anything that comes close to this. So I guess I would have 3 different books I'd be carrying around. Or honestly, I would probably just be bullet journaling because that's what I did do in the past when I used to work. I did bullet journal and I would literally make my own like spread sort of thing, right? So I could achieve this myself. Okay. So yeah, I think that's probably the end of the questions, which is we're now at 2.5 hours for this. So thank you guys so much for joining today's class. I'll send you another email when I see that the replay is done. So you guys will have the replay. I just don't know exactly when that's going to be completely done on YouTube's end. Yeah, and if you guys have any other questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I will respond to those. I know that the chat function is going to be gone once this ends, but there's, this is, you do have the comments to go through. So, okay, thank you guys so much for coming. And I guess I'll talk to you soon. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Oh, and give this video a thumbs up if you found this valuable, and feel free to share it all over the internet, anywhere in your planner groups or whatever, anywhere you think this would be helpful. There's still so many of you on here, so I feel like I need to present something, but you guys, go forth and start acting on your to-do list now, okay? There does reach a point where we have to stop planning and start doing. So I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.